5.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Friday. If I sound like I got a little bit more pep in my step, it's because I'm at my house because there was a home that was being moved on the street as I left at 5:20 to go to Dunkin' Donuts and get coffee and donuts for the staff, only to discover I couldn't get down the road. So here I am, Bill Gunner, coming to you from his house. Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen from the studio. I'm counting down the hours. I'm leaving for Vegas in about 7 of them. So what a Friday morning to behold. Do what?
You hope you're leaving.
Yeah, that's a good point. If they get that home moved out. There's a tight, if you're familiar with Lexington, at the end of Old Cherokee, there's a little road, Brim Point, and it's a little tiny dirt road. And apparently they decided 5:20 this morning was the time to move a house. Jen's got all the pictures. I put them up on Twitter. Not only does she have all the pictures, she heard we were on the phone. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm going to make it in time. I think I'm in some trouble here. And so
Did you hear the chainsaws and the squeaking of the frame?
You heard the chainsaws and everything going on. So yeah, we had a good time. So I'm at the house. Patrick and Jen are in studio.
Why are you wearing sunglasses?
Wherever you are. Do what?
Why are you wearing sunglasses at 6 a.m? When it's dark out?
I'm ready for the flight.
Yeah, it makes me think that makes me think you're just gonna leave like at the bottom of the hour and leave me to fend for myself.
It's vacation Gunner, buddy. I'm ready to go. I don't ever take vacations. I'm ready to go. So anyway, hope everybody is doing great on a Friday morning. If you want to weigh in and join us, there's ways to do that. 803-404-6100. How you can do so via the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. You can do so via the Love Chevy phone lines. Also, 803-404-6100. How you can get involved in the program. The live stream is up and running. We got the computer fixed at the office there at the studio. So Patrick, you can see multiple angles. You can hear everything going on. You can check in with us and see what we're up to. You can join us. All you got to do is go to 1075 The Game, the YouTube page. Go to youtube.com, type in 1075 The Game, hit search, and you will locate our page. We ask that you subscribe. We appreciate that. And then you can watch us each and every morning. You can also go to the Facebook page as well. Lot to get into this morning coming up at about 7:40. We will redo it with Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider and MajorWager.com. He apologized for sleeping through his segment yesterday, so we make him go a little bit earlier this morning. He'll join us at 7:40 to give his picks. 8:05 this morning, Chris Deering, PrepRedZone.com is the way you can check out his work. He will join us to give us the weekly update on the high school scene and what is going on what should be a lot of fun on a Friday night around the Midlands. And then at 8:25, Patrick and I give our picks for the weekend. Patrick early with a commanding lead in our picks contest. You can visit the website there, the YouTube page, and check us out and listen to us there. Patrick, you're up what, like 4-1 on me? Is that correct?
I think so. The what are we calling the bonus pick? The 2-pointer?
The money ball.
The money ball. The money ball.
Yeah,
really helped out there.
Yeah. You got that last. Friday. Can kudos on that. You had the.
I don't feel
what
great.
Was your money ball pick?
It was the under in Wisconsin Army.
That's right. So
lowest under on the board.
That was 39, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't like. Yeah. I really don't like this week's slate at all.
For someone going to Vegas, I should be more in tune with the spread and everything going on this week, but I'm not. So
not even the spread. It's just like I'm trying to think of 5 games, and there's just not 5. There's not 5 great games. We're gonna end up picking Tennessee, Alabama, which I don't even know what the spread on that thing is. It's gonna be big, I'm assuming.
It's not a particular. We've discussed this throughout the week, and I was listening to Heath Klein yesterday. Apparently, I listen to Heath way too much, or he has a fantastic program. And I listen way too much, but I was listening to him yesterday, and he was talking about, how people feel and the energy level currently around the South Carolina game this weekend. And I'll ask Clemson fans of this, like, what is your energy level for Clemson Pittsburgh this coming weekend? Clemson on the road at Pittsburgh. It's actually kind of a big game for the Clemson Tigers. But for South Carolina, I was listening to Heath talk about this yesterday. There doesn't seem to be, Patrick and Jen, and y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong, because you've been a part of this program all week, to my knowledge. There doesn't seem to be any kind of excitement for this particular game. I don't know how much excitement there is for the actual season as we go forward. I'm not saying all of y'all or some of y'all are out there are not fired up. That's not what I necessarily am trying to mean. But let's be honest, you guys with me, you read the text line, you take the phone calls, you hear everything. This particular game, Patrick, where do you think, Jen, where do y'all think people stand in regards to South Carolina? A night game in College Station. It's a team that South Carolina has not beaten. It's a team that was struggling but seems to have found itself. But where do you think the fan base is here on a Friday going into an away game that South Carolina's a 3-touchdown underdog? That's what they are. But where do y'all think this fan base is at as we get the show going on a Friday morning?
They're still engaged. I mean, nobody's mailing it in. Nobody's apathetic just yet. There's a lot of negativity. I don't think anyone's certainly feeling great like South Carolina's going to go 3-2 the next 5 weeks. But, there's only one way to find out. We're going to play it out. I don't think anyone thinks that South Carolina's going to waltz in there and beat Texas A&M. Maybe some people do. The super optimistic people think South Carolina can go in there and get a win, but you still want to see it. There's still a lot to play for this season. I think the fact that the last game of the year feels like it's all of a sudden winnable helps a lot to keep people engaged. And Missouri feels like it could be a win. And, you have a chance to make a bowl game still. And people are going to watch because they want to see progress. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I was going to say, and especially now that we've transitioned quarterbacks again,
yep.
I think there's going to be a lot more interest of, okay, we saw Zeb kind of light things on fire at the end of the game, which, okay, it was a couple plays. But still, what is our potential now? Because Doty wasn't quite doing it. And now we know kind of why. But I think there's maybe a little more interest there.
The quarterback change always does help a little bit. Just add a little bit of flair. But that's what it comes down to. There's still a lot to play for. And people are fully aware that this is not a one-year solution, one-year build. There's only one way to get better, and you got to play out the season, and guys have to start showing something. You want to know what you can hang your hat on going into next year.
803-404-6100. How do you feel about today or tomorrow's game? How do you feel about just the remainder of the season, the final 5 games? Because it does feel right now some people are slightly checked out. They're kind of moving on. So 803-404-6100. We'll talk about the game that will take place, South Carolina and Texas A&M. Again, the Gamecocks right now about a 3-touchdown underdog going into College Station. Obviously a place that they have not won against a team that they have not beaten. Texas A&M has got a weird history with South Carolina. A lot of the games had been relatively competitive up until last year. It's been a series, though, that's been absolutely dominated by Texas A&M. And Patrick, as I glanced through Vegas Insider this morning, that line had hit 21 earlier in the middle of the week. It is now down to roughly 19 and a half is where I see it on. It's 19 at Circa Sports. It's 19 and a half at FanDuel. Caesar Sportsbook tells me it's 20 and a half. So maybe a slight drop. Over under still at 44 and a half, 45. So a lot of people not projecting a high scoring game, which, look, what we've seen so far, Patrick, if South Carolina's going to win this game, they're going to have to keep it low scoring. I don't expect Zeb Nolan to necessarily come out and start lighting the world on fire and this offense to just magically take off tomorrow night.
No, I don't think it's going to go well tomorrow. I really don't. I think Texas A&M fans have something to cheer for right now. They're going to – I don't know if it'll be a sellout. Do they sell out every game? Are they one of those teams?
Texas A&M?
Yeah. I mean, are there 100,000 at every home game? I assume there are, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they necessarily sell out every game, but like in terms of that's what the tickets end up saying. Because look, again, if you want the number of bodies in the stadium versus actual attendance, just look at the last 2 South Carolina home games, Troy and Vanderbilt. I would say that there was no more than 50,000, and that's maybe being generous. Actual living, breathing, blood-flowing bodies in the stadium versus what the announced attendance was. That
Right.
was closer to 70. I think 66 maybe. I'm not real sure what the announced attendance was for the Vanderbilt game, but I would tell you that actual living human beings in Williams-Brice Stadium last week for Vanderbilt was under 50,000.
Well, that's
and-
not going to be the case at Kyle Field on Saturday. I mean, they are riding a high right now. They're going to be fired up. The Aggies are going to be fired up. Tonight they're probably doing their weird little whatever we call that.
they're doing their yell. They're doing the yell thing. Yeah,
That
there's no doubt about that.
that guy doing his weird jump. I guess you can only see it if you're on the live stream. His weird little hop. Texas A&M fighting Aggies. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to go well. Their defense is good. Their offense has confidence right now. They got playmakers all over the place. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a good game, and people will probably be mad on Monday. But I don't think people are going in with crazy expectations. I just hope that the quarterback play is okay, and people don't come in upset because they all of a sudden expected Zeb to throw for 400 yards and beat Texas A&M for the first time in program history.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall task. Maybe Zeb Nolan getting the start does give you a little bit of juice for tomorrow night, and 7:30 SEC Network, South Carolina and Texas A&M getting after it, and we'll kind of see what happens. Chuck weighing in, DC, both on the live stream. Chuck saying, good morning, team. Welcome in, Chuck. I'm glad we're a part of your team. He says, I think it's going to be ugly at A&M, about like the Georgia game and score. Hope not, but it's likely, and I hope I'm wrong. Bun weighing in this morning, and his sentiments. He said, we barely beat Vandy at home. No one is saying anything. I'm editing Bun's text message. Bun, you could have edited yourself, but I'll edit for you. No one is saying anything because we're expecting our Heinies to be beat. Okay, there's that. Thank you for your text message, Bun. Next time, edit yourself so I don't have to edit for you, but I appreciate. Lee weighs in. He says, I agree. I am ready for the game, just not as excited. And then he gives us some compliments on the show. Jen, Patrick, we've been complimented. So kudos for that. John in Somerville, did I read correctly that Clemson is not favored against Pittsburgh? You did read correctly, John. Pittsburgh. What is the most updated line on Pittsburgh?
Three and a half.
Pittsburgh has been was it still hovering at the 3.5 number? Yep. Yes, it is. 3.5 across the board. FanDuel, Circa, Caesars, and BetMGM all giving us the 3.5 line there for Pittsburgh as the favorite. 3:30 tomorrow against Clemson. We'll pick that game, Patrick, but Clemson, it's an odd spot for them. It's an odd spot. Have not been an underdog in an ACC game since, I think, 2016, if I remember correctly, if I've seen the stat this week correctly. It's been a very long time since Clemson goes on the road and finds themselves as an underdog against an ACC opponent.
How long do we have to go before people are still going to have in the back of their mind, maybe this is the get right week for Clemson? How long are we going to keep saying that? Like, can Clemson just still be bad all season long, and then we go into the South Carolina game, do our show on November 26th, and say, yeah, you know what, this could definitely be the get right game for Clemson here?
Yes, that is the answer to your question. Is Clemson has a proven track record, and what you end up getting here is 5 more games, essentially, of us going, or 6 more games of us going. Yeah, Clemson can get it together this week. I mean, I know David Pollock on game day, on College Game Day, has said that nope, this Clemson team, they are what they are. They are who they are. This is them, and they're not very good. Can it snap into place? Yes.
Is it because DJ? Is it because of DJ? He's just not good. That's just what it is. He came in, almost beat Notre Dame, threw for like 400 yards, and his first start as a true freshman. Now all of a sudden he's not good anymore. I don't get it. Ultimately,
you don't get why
Clemson returned their entire starting defense. A lot of them are hurt now, but they returned a lot of people. It's not just because they lost. Is it just because they lost Trevor Lawrence? That's it. I mean, he's the number one pick. It's meaningful. But DJ was the number one quarterback too. And Dabo, everybody had said there's not going to be a drop-off with DJ.
I think there's multiple things at play here, one of which would be, losing Travis Etienne is bigger than people realized. And Clemson having more transfer portal additions this weekend or this week as Javon Charleston and then another running back, Michael Dukes, jumping into the portal there, taking their Dr. Pepper and going home. We'll see what happens, but losing the running game, Jackson Carman, the offensive lineman, certainly was a big loss that we don't talk about. A lot of people focus on on Trevor Lawrence, but Etienne and Carman are big losses. And you bring up a good question. Will we still be saying on November 26th, as Clemson comes to Columbia, hey, is this the get right weekend? If South Carolina's offense shows a pulse, anything over the next 4 games that gives you hope, we might be singing a different tune on November 26th, and that starts tomorrow night for South Carolina. Zeb Nolan, it'll be his team. He doesn't have to. Patrick, you mentioned it earlier this week. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder anymore. Luke Doty is not an option. He's out for the season. We'll talk about that. Zeb Nolan, what do you expect tomorrow night? 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. The anonymous texter, we appreciate the multiple text messages with the same one. Swimming in the dichotomy of wanting to pull off a couple upsets, but wholeheartedly wanting Marcus Satterfield gone. Not sure those are mutually exclusive. You got that. Jim in Carolina Beach, probably looking at a beautiful sunset. Actually, he's sending me pictures. He's sending us pictures of his lighting, purple lighting in Carolina Beach. Looks pretty, Jim, but he's got the Jeep going on. He's got the stickers on his other car with the Clemson on the back. I'm sure a beautiful sunset coming up in Carolina Beach that we'll get a picture of. Jim saying solid Orange Friday. Go Tigers, beat Pitt. Weigh in with your predictions this morning. North Carolina, I believe.
Why are they allowed to just call themselves Carolina Beach?
That's a good question. Jim, get on that up there.
Yeah, who do you think? Who do you guys think you are? There's a lot of beaches in the Carolinas.
I think Jim's originally from Lexington. He's a Lexingtonian with me. I think, or his family resides.
I don't think anyone should be allowed to just be
Carolina
Beach. I don't think so.
We'll get to the bottom of that all. I've got my sunglasses on because I got dressed, got ready to come to the studio, only to be blocked by a double wide coming down a road. I'm now at the house. Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen, they've got the studio held down. We hope you're up and running this morning, ready for a lovely Friday, a beautiful Friday. We hope you are all about it. We've got plenty we're going to get into. Want to get your predictions as well. You can join us on the live stream. Chuck, DC, Carlton, all weighing in this morning. You can join us as well. See a couple more of you there. Jen and Patrick in the studio. I'm here at the house. Gamecock Larry is on the phone lines. We'll get to him when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
This is South Carolina head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley, and you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
All right.
From the Shepherd's Glass traffic, Shepherd's Glass, Shepherd'sGlass.com. Looks like no major slowdowns. We do have one I-26 westbound just after Columbia Avenue. That's 891. And it's a car versus deer incident. So it might take a little bit to get that cleaned up, but other than that, no major tie-ups this morning. I hope it stays that way. Breezy today. 81 for the high, 77 tomorrow, 81 again on Sunday. Definitely a warmer morning, so Patrick is very happy. It's 68 right now.
That's right.
All right. Are you going to take it out? We don't hear the commercials?
We are out. We don't hear the commercials.
Oh, that was because Jen was. I see what you're doing. I got you. I can hear Jen in the. I got you. Yeah, that's true. Jen is not a commercial. All right, let's see here. Okay, let's see that.
It still has some echoes.
We got some echoes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's from the studio.
Yeah, it's probably the overhead speaker.
Do I need to just turn that down then?
Yeah. Let's see if that goes away in that case. 'Cause I don't know what else. Nothing else should be echoing.
Yeah, it could be that. I think that helps.
All right. Patrick, what do you think? Should we put up a what will happen tweet, or is that just asking for trouble?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We got to take the temperature of Braves fans too.
Oh, good point. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. I forgot about that.
Still hearing a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, are you hearing program in the background? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's from him.
I mean,
It's not terrible.
are we hearing the
That's-
overhead speaker in the producer room then? I mean, you're hearing it, I guess.
Whatever. It seems better now.
Okay, because now it's dead quiet. There were headsets pretty close to my laptop.
Okay. That could be. I bet that's what it was. Okay.
What do you think, Patrick? I was trying to go Aggies cover the spread.
Gamecocks pull the upset.
Yep.
Gamecocks lose by 0 to
By 0, huh?
or by 1 to 7.
I went 1 to 9, 10 to 18, and Aggies cover the spread. A&M covers the spread.
Yeah, that works. You should be allowed to tie in college football.
Should be, yeah. Look at us being productive today.
That's scary.
Well, when you sit there and you watch a double wide get moved for how long? I mean, I was sitting there for a good 12 minutes.
I don't like any of the games that are being played this week, though. What are we picking?
You got South Carolina A&M. We got Clemson, Pittsburgh.
Oklahoma State, Iowa State.
Oklahoma, let's do that one. Yep. Give me what's the 3:30 CBS game?
LSU, Ole Miss, I think.
Oh, let's pick that one.
It sucks.
And then you either got Southern Cal, Notre Dame, always a big one.
Neither of those teams are good, though.
Still a big one.
To who?
Game days at Oregon, UCLA. We could pick that one.
Might as well just pick Bama, Tennessee.
What did I give you? I gave you 3.
You gave me a bunch, but I don't like any of them. We'll do Ole Miss, LSU because we're in SEC country. We'll do Iowa State, Oklahoma State, I guess.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. LSU, Mississippi, and let's do Oregon, UCLA.
All right. I hate this slate. I'm only watching the South Carolina game this weekend.
Just emailed you the promos.
Let's see.
All right, you're up. Try to follow up.
Live stream, you hear Grumpy Patrick in full effect.
Yeah.
And maybe rightfully so.
It is rightfully so. Let's be honest. The slate this weekend stinks.
I've said that. I told you. I said that.
I think earlier in the week we were underselling it though. We were like, yeah, not a great slate. Now that I'm truly looking through it, I'm going to the movies on Saturday. I would never do that, but I'm going to the movies on Saturday because I just don't care.
We were underselling.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell. We went through. I think it was Wednesday. We went through the noon to 3:30 to 7 o'clock window. Let's give you that again for your football at the start. Patrick, this is why on Wednesday we didn't do this Wednesday. And big thanks again to Danny Kelly from the Posting Courier Myrtle Beach for joining us Wednesday morning to talk about Appalachian State because I said it then. I thought App State Coastal may be the best game of the weekend. We ended up getting a great game. We ended up getting a 30-27. We ended up getting a fantastic ball game. And last night was, I mean, unless you were into Lafayette, Arkansas State, it was a bit of a dud. Louisiana versus Arkansas State. I know they're not going about Lafayette anymore. SMU crushed Tulane 55-26. Florida Atlantic on Charlotte 38-9. Coastal Perry. Tonight's not exactly better. Middle Tennessee at UConn. There's the Memphis and Central Florida. Colorado State's in Utah State tonight. You do get Washington at Arizona. Some brand name teams on Arizona is smelly right now in the game of football. Tomorrow, again, Patrick, to your point, there's no games featuring two ranked teams playing each other this week.
Yep.
Tomorrow, Cincinnati at Navy, Oklahoma at Kansas, Northwestern at Michigan, Illinois at Penn State, Wake Forest at Army. There's your basically your slate of games. Get fired up, folks. Syracuse and Virginia Tech is also a part of that.
Pumpkin Patch Saturday. That is the move. I'm not going because I'm going next weekend, but I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to go see Dune on Saturday at like noon and not feel slightly bad about it. I mean, it's really when we started looking to pick 5 games, we need to choose the 5 games that we're going to pick for our last segment. And it's like, okay, well, Notre Dame, who's got embarrassed against Cincinnati at home and is already out of the playoffs, versus 3-3 Southern Cal. That's almost as good as we can do. It's not a good slate. South Carolina, I mean, if you spend the whole day watching football this slate, although you know what, here's my positive spin. Here's my positive spin.
Watching football. You're going to be in the sports book in Vegas watching football all day.
Well, maybe
I might hit the craps table.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe go spend some time at the blackjack table because it's not worth watching. Although I will say, we hyped up like crazy those 2 weekends in a row. I guess 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, where it was ranked matchups all over the place, ranked SEC matchups all over the place, and what did it do? It let us down. Arkansas, Ole Miss. Maybe this will be one of the weeks where we get 6 overtimes. We get to see the fourth two-point conversions. Maybe we'll have it. Maybe it'll be one. But nothing. No consistent.
Tomorrow is again maybe the best game of the day, we will pick at Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Patrick, do you have a line on that? Did I hear you? Because somebody, I think, hit us up earlier. Richard, I believe, on the Cool Care Heating Air text line and was asking number 8 Oklahoma State tomorrow on the road at Iowa State. And Oklahoma State, I believe, an underdog. Yes, a touchdown underdog to Iowa State in Ames tomorrow. So you've got a top 10 team going on the road tomorrow. Jack Trice Stadium. Jack Trice Stadium. A couple weeks ago, the reason I know that, very interesting story about Jack Trice, first African-American player to play for Iowa State, went on the road to somewhere else, Midwestern school, kind of North Midwestern school, and they physically assaulted him during the game. It ended up ending his life. Is a hero in Ames, Iowa, at Iowa State, named the stadium after him. I saw this a couple weeks ago, I believe, maybe a documentary, maybe it was on ESPN, maybe it was on Game Day, maybe it was somewhere, but within the last 7 weeks, I saw the story on it, and that's how I knew it was Jack Trice Stadium. Very interesting, very good story. Not a good story, but very interesting part of unfortunately, football, college football folklore going back into the 40s, I believe is what it was, 40s or 50s, and integration into college football by African Americans. So that's how I knew that a couple weeks ago. You like that, huh? Yeah. Don't pay attention to movies, but I know plenty. Iowa State, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, were they top 10 to start the season? I believe they were, and they're out of it. I believe they were, when they played Iowa, they were top 10, and obviously now outside of the top 25. So Iowa State, Brock Purdy, a guy that you've talked about, they lost to Iowa, lost to Baylor. Yeah. So there's your. I mean, look, we're breaking down. I don't know if we're breaking down Oklahoma State, Iowa State, but the bottom line is that's one of your better games tomorrow. And you're exactly right, Patrick. They lost 27-17 to Iowa, 31-29 to Baylor. They've rattled off back-to-back wins against the Sunflower State. What is Kansas? Okay, they beat Kansas 59-7 and beat Kansas State 33-20. So back-to-back wins there. And that's kind of your 3:30 slate. You do have UCLA and Oregon at 3:30 tomorrow. Obviously the big one, Clemson, Pittsburgh. I know a lot of people will be tuned into that, seeing if that Clemson offense can get heated up and get going, or if Kenny Pickett and Pittsburgh will have their way. LSU, Mississippi as well at 3:30. Mississippi now up to number 12 in the polls. LSU, the first game after the announcement of Ed Orgeron's departure at the end of the season. We are picking that one, correct, Patrick? LSU, Ole Miss, we're picking that. Okay. Your evenings, again, the 3:30, just a few others: Colorado at California, BYU at Washington State. So not a thrilling afternoon schedule. Your evening schedule is not particularly better. Tennessee at Alabama, that'll be your ESPN game at 7:00. Ohio State is at Indiana, 7:30. Southern Cal, Notre Dame, normally a big game, but that one's going to have little relevance. South Carolina at Texas A&M, 7:30. North Carolina State at Miami, 7:30. West Virginia is at TCU, 7:30. So again, tomorrow, not particularly a great college football day. Bun weighs in. Patrick, I don't know if this is on your list. He says Dune was awesome. He also tells me he'll work on the language. I appreciate that. Dune, is that on the potential list tomorrow? Or is it all of James Bond? Oh, Dune. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay, awesome, very neat. Also, Will asks on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. He says, "I got to turn my parlay card in by 9. Is Brian on today?" Yes, Vegas insider Brian Edwards will join us here in about an hour, at about 7:40. 803-404-6100. Jen, let's hear the lovely predictions of Gamecock Larry. Is he still waiting patiently on the Love Chevy phone lines? If so, Gamecock Larry, what is your prediction for tomorrow's football game between the University of South Carolina and the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies? It's Larry. It's Larry. No, your name is Larry. Your name is Larry. That's why I was helping you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't forget what I was going to say now. Sure enough. Oh, yeah. Points scored than that. But I will tell you one thing. We will cover the 21 point spread. We will have our offense and defense ready to play. And Zeb will lead us to a winning score. It may be a touchdown or it may be a field goal with a couple of minutes to go. But that number is 28-24. We're going to win 28-24. But I think it's going to be more points scored than that. But I will say we're going to win by 4. So that means they're going to lead us to a touchdown with 2 minutes to go. What do you think about that?
I think it's your prediction.
Now, y'all been shooting Carolina down. Y'all been talking about they ain't got a chance. I've been listening to you for 40 minutes. But tell me something while I got you on the phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, I thought you wanted me to tell you.
Tell him
something.
something.
Tomorrow evening, Temple at South Florida, 7 p.m. ESPN Plus. There's telling you something. How's that?
Tell him that you'll put in an in-game parlay for the South Carolina spread or South Carolina money line and the over.
Okay.
Just for Gamecock Larry.
I'll let you go. Okay, I'll let you go. You made me think a little bit better. I had to spend about 7 hours out at the hospital yesterday. Feel again like an idiot. Won't listen to my nurses and doctors. I'm going to get up and do what I want to do as long as I can. But now I can't get up. They got me weak. But I'm all right. But I went out there for a bruised toe, and they give me a EKG. They gave me lab work, all kind of stuff for a bruised toe. But you know what? The results was when they come back about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Hey, you look good, Larry. Everything's okay. So that's the good about it. But I'm gonna say 28-24, but it might be 51-47. Okay, go Gamecocks.
51-47. Good grief.
Come on, I got to play it
Probably
once
should
in a
have
while.
played that. Help him out with his name. We confused him, Patrick. That's what kind of morning we're
That's
having.
actually what we should do. We should just play that song. We don't even have to say Gamecock Larry. We just play that song, and he knows it's his time.
I
to
thought
talk.
about it's his
Yeah.
intro music. Yep.
He should have. He should have
His
some
walk-up song.
Walk-up songs. Yep. Yep.
It's good stuff.
If anyone deserves it.
803-404-6100. All we ask if you call in, remember your name. That's really we have simple rules here.
Bill
on
has a
this
hard enough
program.
time with that, but
I have multiple names. I tried to explain that to somebody yesterday, last night at the chili cook-off. It didn't go well. They were very confused. We'll continue to confuse not just Gamecock Larry, but you as well. Coming up in 45 minutes, VegasInsider.com's Brian Edwards. Coming up at 8:05 this morning, Chris Deering. And coming up at 8:25 this morning, Patrick Pratt and myself. We will pick those games that Patrick is so unhappy over. You are listening to a happy edition of the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game is omnipresent and free of charge. In your car. Online. On the app and streaming on your smart speaker. 107.5 The Game.
It's that time of year, having people over, needing a clean house. The question would be, how clean is your carpet, your tile, your rugs, your upholstery? It better be super clean. Otherwise, people are pretty judgy around here. You should see Jen's face when she comes over and the place isn't clean. She gets very angry with me, makes snide comments, more so than she does each and every morning. That's why I turn to Zero Res to keep the Gunner household clean. They were here Wednesday. Did phenomenal. So phenomenal, the 9-year-old, Austin, has been talking all week about how clean the carpets are as if I've never had them cleaned. It's like I'm the dirtiest person in the world until Zero Res showed up with their patented technology that used high pH electrolyzed water. They did not use harsh chemicals. It was not sticky, soapy. There was no residue that was left behind. Nope. Zero Res has taken care of my house, and now my 9-year-old thinks I'm the cleanest person in the world. All because of the ZR water that Zero Res uses. The technology, it is incredible. They tell me to say incredible. I say it's phenomenal. It's scientifically proven to get your carpet, rugs, tile, and upholstery insanely clean. So clean, your 9-year-old will think that you're one of the clean people in the world. Call Zero Res right now to be one of those clean people. 803-262-4020. You can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Right now, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119. And when you mention my name, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you'll get your hallway cleaned for free. $75 of total savings. Again, right now, 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119. And when you mention Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you'll get your hallway cleaned for free. And again, that is $75 of total savings. 803-262-4020 or online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
All right, so
Which one is the?
And it says Reese's Cup Macchiato.
all right, so we got disconnected somehow on the plug we were using. So, if we keep dropping out, keep telling us that, because that actually is how we notice. That is how we notice that we're not working.
All right. Good morning, Travis. Oh, delicious food.
No, strawberry chocolate.
Live streamers, how is it? Can you hear us now? Patrick's been working hard in there to get everything fixed.
Yeah, we just need them. It's actually helpful if they tell us when we drop out, because we can't tell when we're in the middle of a segment what's coming out, really. And
Can
we got-
everybody hear us? Are we good?
Yeah, they can.
All good now. Hey, Craig. Craig, you hadn't waited. Am I just missing some of the, or is Craig just not saying good morning now?
We can tell what's working when it's working or not if we're in the breaks, but we've got to turn our speakers off during segments. So we know what's going out over the air, but we don't know what's going out of the live stream. So if we drop out in the middle of a segment, let us know, and I will adjust plugs. All I did was move one plug from one headphone port to the next, and it started working again. So I'll just keep
Excellent
going
work.
back.
Look at Patrick, the engineer.
Going back and forth between the two headphone ports on the back of the computer, and it should work. Just high tech.
Patrick, the engineer, in full effect there.
All right.
Thanks for. We're really glad though that your pants fit, like, or that they don't fall down, like, like a plumber or something when you're doing the work.
Yeah, my pants actually don't fit.
Sorry.
Well, I meant to say, they're not falling down to, or
The shorts I'm wearing right now actually do, but this has actually become a problem that I have to wear khaki pants, or professional looking pants at work, and it's gotten cold now, and I still just have to wear shorts because my pants are now all too small. Gained too much weight since the last time I wore khaki pants. It's a problem.
Have you tried a hair tie or something, like around the button and then loop it through
No, but that could work.
that gives you a little extra, yeah.
Then you still wear a belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might actually have to try that because I don't want to buy new pants, and because first of all, that'll make me never want to fit back in my old pants.
Right.
We're not that far away. We're not that far away from them fitting.
See, that was kind of a pregnancy trick when you were going between like regular clothes to maternity. So yeah, you just around your the loop
Wrap
that
it
goes
around,
in.
yeah.
Just
Huh.
Well, alrighty then.
I never even thought about that. I thought about just wearing a belt and hoping that they stay up. I mean, they would if I had the belt tied enough, but
yeah,
that's actually better. Utilize the button.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that's had the incredible sensation of putting on your pants and they feel a little loose, but you feel like you're gaining weight, and then you find out that they're actually like a 32 waist, and you feel really good about yourself? Does that ever happen?
I
Where
mean,
your
I
pants
lost.
are actually a size smaller?
Oh,
Yeah, like I haven't been a size 30 since I was, I don't know, somewhere in the high school days, but I'm down to a size 32. I'm at a 32 waist, which I feel very good about. I'm very proud of. What was it, Jerry Seinfeld? Was Jerry a 31, but he would scratch the 1 out and put a 0?
I don't remember that.
Y'all see that
Could
episode?
be.
I don't remember that either. I was watching Seinfeld last night. I was watching the pirate shirt episode.
That was never one of my favorites.
My roommate has never seen Seinfeld, so he's been watching it downstairs, and I just watch it while I'm eating dinner with him because he wants to watch Curb, but he's watching Seinfeld first.
Yeah, you gotta.
Gotta get the
I
back.
think I saw a new season of Curb just coming out.
Yeah.
Got about a minute and a half.
Forever.
All right, good.
Rolling along on a Friday morning. Hope you're doing well out there. 6:54, your official 107.5 The Game time right now. Coming up again in about 45 minutes. We'll be joined by Brian Edwards, not the Las Vegas wide receiver, but by the Vegas Insider Guru, who will join us this morning to give his picks. Again, 8:05. Chris Deering will join us to tell us all about the weekend high school slate in 8:25. Patrick and I will give our picks. If you want to weigh in, you can do so on the live stream. Carlton, Chuck, Craig, John, Travis, all weighing in there this morning. You can also hit us up, Cool Care Heating and Air text line 803-404-6100. Next hour, we'll get into what do you expect, Patrick, Jen, Zeb Nolan back. in the saddle.
Also,
when they go
though,
to Texas.
during the next 5 minutes before we hit the top of the hour, I want to know how Braves fans are feeling. I want a Braves temperature check. Are you guys in disaster mode? Max Scherzer's going to start Game 6, Buehler Game 7. Is it over? Did you just blow your golden opportunity, or do you feel great about 2 games in Atlanta to end this thing? That's what I want to know.
Bueller.
I'm actually interested.
Bueller.
I'm actually interested in how they feel because I've been in situations like this before, and I would be thinking the absolute worst.
Negative Patrick. He does look happier this morning, Jim.
I said it yesterday. The Braves are already in the World Series, basically. They don't even really need to play it out. As far as I'm concerned, they've made it.
Hour 2 is up next. We'll do a Braves check. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecock.
There's your answer, Patrick. Leslie says going back to Atlanta to win.
But then someone said, I feel nothing. I'm dead inside.
No.
I don't know what Don means. Worried it happened before. Worried. Oh, the Dodgers
3-1.
3-1. Yes, I get it, John. I'm with you.
But at the same time, I guess we can save this to talk about on the air. But any of you that were told, yeah, you're gonna be up 3-2 heading back to Atlanta, you had to have you would have for sure taken that.
Yep.
Yeah, here down that road. They're having to take a while to get in. I don't know where everything's going, but
I don't know what. I can't go down there, but I didn't think there was like a spot to the trailer. Yeah, there's a tree over here. I guess they came on Beach Street.
Are both games in Atlanta? Is that correct? I thought
so.
I really don't.
Down there in that area too. But there were some trucks and stuff that were out there.
What is that?
Bill's talking. Talking to somebody in his house.
Oh, that's the static. That's where the static was coming from. The MLB and ESPN really are disrespecting the Braves, though. I actually have noticed that. Not last night, but the game before, there was a tweet. Someone just texted. Todd texted way too long. But yeah, I did see that the MLB tweeted like 1 hour till Dodgers baseball, and the Braves retweeted and said the Atlanta Braves are also playing today. And the MLB page really was like filled with Dodgers tweets. ESPN's focusing on the Dodgers. I actually would be annoyed by that if I was a Braves fan.
Yeah.
How much they're getting ignored.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying, really.
I guess that's what you expect when the MLB and ESPN.
Oh, Braves fans, just hang in there. Be positive.
Okay.
Be positive.
Speaking of that, I can't watch that show because LTX isn't on Dish Network anymore.
What show?
I think. Patrick, you see this text from the anonymous texter?
The one I read?
That turn.
Already?
Oh, there we go. I gotta turn my volume on so I can hear you. Did you see the text from the anonymous texter?
Which
Said
one?
he feels nothing. He's dead inside.
Yeah, I read that one.
I got you.
I said that's kind of like being a Cubs fan.
It is kind of like being a Cubs fan.
I didn't even know. I actually missed this text from earlier. He seems so unhappy. It's not college football's job to make you happy each weekend.
It's true. It's not college football's job.
It's completely not true. That is college football's job.
They've done a good job the last few weeks. Next week we got a great week. This is kind of like it's
What
is
else
kind
is
of
college
like
football for? It's
your
not to make me
overall
happy.
college football bye week.
College football's sole purpose is to make us happy.
Next week is a really
Yeah.
good week, and South Carolina's on a bye week. Although my grandmother wants me to get up at 6 a.m. and take her and my aunt to the flea market so they can get a table and sell stuff. So the 1 week that's the face that I was not pleased with this information that I acquired yesterday. And on top of that, my aunt wants me to come over on like Monday or Tuesday and load up or whenever I get back, Wednesday, I guess, and load up my car with her stuff and then just drive around with it all week in the back of the car. And then pick them up at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning and get them out to the flea market.
You look like you're not feeling well. By then, you might not be.
I, needless to say, did not handle that information when it was presented to me yesterday very well. Sometimes I forget to flip the filter switch on and not use curse words to describe what I think about people's opinion.
I've never had that happen.
No, yeah, you seem like someone who always is very well filtered.
I had a boss one time who's like, if you would stop rolling your eyes at me. And I was like, oh, crap. Didn't know you were saying that.
Yeah, you.
I know. Well, expressive.
The poll results, by the way, are not going well in the favor of people feeling that South Carolina. We'll get into this a little bit.
I mean, we really are to the point in football season now where the Washington football team is so bad and expectations are not high for South Carolina that I'm just programmed that I just feel like I have to watch the games. Like I'll never not watch Washington on Sunday and South Carolina on Saturday, but it's more just that I think that's what I'm supposed to do, then I'm really fired up to watch them. I put Red Zone on one small TV and then Washington on the big TV, and I just get bored watching it now.
That's a good call, John. Bill, you got the pictures.
That is true. Yes. Well,
Stop.
like I do have the pictures. That was. And that police officer that was there helping the whole thing, he felt I was like, dude, I got to go do a radio show. Like I have to be there. It does it. The radio show starts whether I'm there or not.
We're in.
Well, it's not the same. I do have coffee and donuts. Lauren has brought me coffee and donuts this morning because I couldn't get out of the house. I went to go leave, and I was on the phone with Jen. I'm at the house. Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen, there at the studio. I went to go leave. They were moving a double wide, or I don't know what was going on at 5:30. Whatever was going on at 5:30 was completely unnecessary. So I just backtracked and came to the house. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen. I'm here.
Yeah, we're very hungry because we were actually counting on you to bring donuts, and we didn't eat breakfast this morning because of it, and then you didn't show up. So now we're just sitting here hungry.
Yeah, just hungry. We got the double wide finally moved about halfway through the first hour, from what I understand. And Lauren went and got me donuts, and I've got like a Reese's macchiato, Reese's cup macchiato iced coffee. So if you're wondering why I sound extra perky, that would be the reason. The other reason is I'm hopping on a bird here to head out to Vegas in about 6 hours, and we'll spend the weekend out there. Patrick Perrett, Tommy Moody will get you through Monday and Tuesday. Jen will hold the fort down. Watch out for Tommy. He's wild in the morning. They say he's at his most perky.
I used to work with him in the mornings.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When are the next two Braves games? Will that series be over by Monday morning? Or if it goes to 7, when would Game 7
Tommy
be?
is actually a Red Sox fan, though, I believe. Correct? Tommy's
I think you're right.
Red Sox fan.
Right, yeah.
And the Red Sox and the Astros play tonight, 8 o'clock. That's Tommy's thing, Patrick. So if the Astros win, you can just needle them all weekend or all Monday and Tuesday about the Red Sox. Just
And
ask
and
them what time the Red Sox are playing in the
not?
series.
Does he not have affinity for the Braves? I feel like he does, just as a South Carolinian.
you would think so.
He does.
But I do know another thing he used to do. Now, of course, again, this was probably 6 years ago. He would go out on our top hour break because we didn't have a live stream going at that time, obviously, and he would go walk around the building at least once, get that energy moving. So he's got motivation. I'm telling you, you'll be so fired up, Patrick.
Yeah, Craig asks, and this will happen. Tommy will be on the live stream on Monday and Tuesday. Patrick, make sure that happens next week. I'll be back with you guys live and just full of energy from the trip to Vegas. So look forward to that this weekend. Yeah, questionable college football weekend. Patrick, by the way, last night, how about those replacement Browns thumping the Broncos? Did you catch any of that last night?
Yeah,
The
I
Browns.
did. That was just I think that was a matter of the Browns' offensive line, which is probably the best in the NFL. Just a statement game for them, saying, you know what, don't have Baker, but we're just going to take over. We really don't care. And Dearness Johnson just making himself some money. Really, had a great opportunity. 2 running backs down. Anyone that played him in fantasy football, I was playing against him in fantasy football, unfortunately, he just had a monster game. And I think that was a big win. The Broncos are just not good. At the end of the day, the Broncos really screwed up by drafting Patrick Surtain. There was absolutely no reason. It was befuddling at the time, but when you need a quarterback and Justin Fields is sitting right there, you didn't need to trade or anything, and you don't take him. It's just doesn't make any sense. Teddy Bridgewater is not the answer, and the Browns are really talented. Their defense is really talented. They're still missing a lot of pieces right now. I mean, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was arguably the best player on that defense, and he's out for a couple weeks now. So no Baker, no problem. The Browns, I thought, were actually going to be more hurt than they were yesterday because Craig just said on the live stream, weren't both Browns tackles out too? No, Jedrick Wills did play their left tackle, the second-year kid from Alabama. And Odell, I guess, toughed it out. I don't know. It was expected that he was going to be out for a couple weeks, and he ended up playing yesterday. So props to him. But the Browns, I don't know. They're just a tough team. They're really talented. I don't think they're going to necessarily be a Super Bowl contender, but they're always going to be tough to beat. I like this team.
Yeah, 803-404-6100. That's how you can join Patrick, Jen, and myself this morning. You can do so via the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phones. You can also hit us up on the live stream. You can go to the YouTube page, 1075thegame.com. Search for us there. We ask that you subscribe. I saw that we were up a few more subscribers this morning, so we appreciate everybody doing that. You can go to the Facebook page as well, the 1075 The Game Facebook page, and check us out and join us there. Check out the live stream. Talk about the off-air discussion that we were just having regarding multiple topics. Patrick, real quick, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but you are kind of our resident NFL guy. Deshaun Watson trade rumors, Dolphins. I wanted to get to it yesterday. Again, you're the guy that we look to for the NFL discussion. You just knew one of the Browns left tackles that none of us knew. What exactly do you make of potentially Deshaun Watson going to the Dolphins? Do you think it happens?
I don't think it happens. It feels like there was a lot of smoke there, but nothing's actually moving. It makes sense, but it also doesn't. I don't know how the Dolphins could. I don't know how anyone could trade for him right now with his status so up in the air. We don't know anything. It's actually amazing how little information we have out of this situation. The NFL just seems completely content to let this thing play out in the courts before they decide to do anything. And Houston's just going to sit there, pay him, and not play him. The Dolphins, I get it. They're desperate. They are super desperate. They're 1-5. This was supposed to be a really talented team that just missed out on the playoffs last year. Probably would have made the playoffs if they didn't decide to switch it up from Fitzpatrick to Tua last year. So there were really high expectations for them to really take a step in year 2 under Brian Flores, that really talented defense, highest paid secondary in football, a lot of things trending their direction. Then Tua gets hurt at the beginning. Jacoby Brissett was terrible. Tua came back and was also pretty terrible. and they're 1-5 right now. They're essentially out of the playoff hunt already, so they really need an answer at quarterback because that is just what's holding them back. Their roster's ready. Like, they're a good team. Maybe they could use some help on the offensive line and maybe a couple extra weapons on that side of the ball. But Brian Flores is probably feeling the heat now because you can't under-deliver so much like the Dolphins are right now when there's such high expectations on you. So I feel like they just decide that if they do trade, it's just because they just decided, you know what, we're desperate. We don't care. But I would be so fascinated to see what the compensation would be for a guy who we have no idea what's going to come out of this. It was so bad. We were saying, how long ago was I'm so bad with time? 6 months ago, a couple months ago. I don't know when all this broke, but we were saying, is he ever even going to play? Is he going to get kicked out of the league? Is he going to jail? Like, what is going to happen with Deshaun Watson? And none of it has been resolved. And we're still talking about him getting traded. It's crazy to me.
803-404-6100. Again, how you can join us this morning if you want to weigh in on a Braves hot take. Buddy waves in. Patrick, you were asking for a temperature of the Braves fans. Buddy says the Braves are fine. No way the Dodgers beat the Braves.
I hope
3
Buddy's
games
not a
in row
Braves fan.
again. Braves are better this year.
You can't say no way when you're a fan. Although, I mean, I think Braves fans, I said it on live stream. If you had offered the Braves before the series started, you're going to be up 3-2, headed back to Atlanta. You got to win 1 out of 2 to close it out. Every Braves fan is taking that deal. 100% of Braves fans are taking that deal. It's just now that Scherzer's on there. Can you beat Scherzer twice? My buddy Andrew texted me, thinks they got this. 1 out of 2, easy money. Walker Buehler in Game 7. I mean, the Dodgers are a little banged up. You feel better because Justin Turner's out, but I was so out in playoff baseball. Last night actually did make me kind of want to watch Game 6 and 7. I actually think that I'm going to watch it. Pretty cool. I don't know enough about Atlanta, but pretty cool shots from wherever they were. I always like seeing the crowds in the street for away games. Do you know what I'm talking about, Bill? Where they did that viewing party somewhere in downtown Atlanta?
I was at a chili cook-off last night with the good people from Hurricane Builders. Was hanging out with them and judging chili, and didn't catch a whole lot of the games, and I wasn't paying attention. I saw the score. And it was not pretty for the Braves last night. Dodgers. I will say this, Patrick. The last few playoff games have been not good for any of us who are into playoff baseball. The Red Sox-Astros series, the last 3 games in that series, 12-3, 9-2, 9-1. If you're just looking for good baseball, that's not been a lot of entertainment. And then the last 2 in the Braves series, I guess what was it? Wednesday night was pretty entertaining. Braves had a 5-2 lead going into the 9th and scored 4 runs. Last night, though, 11-2, Dodgers roll. So you've had some blowouts. We'll see if things change tonight. Astros and Red Sox in Houston, 8 o'clock is that game time. The Astros look to close out the Red Sox. There would be a very sad Brian Glenn, so maybe you go visit him at Village Idiot this weekend. Braves tomorrow afternoon, 5:08 start time for the Braves on TBS as they host the Dodgers. And you said Scherzer is throwing tomorrow. I don't have the pitching matchups right in front of me here.
I think Scherzer's going out.
Okay, think Scherzer.
I mean,
that's what we do on the show.
I had seen that everywhere. I mean, I didn't check. I just was trusting what I had heard and read. Can't beat Scherzer twice, though, can you? I mean, come on.
Well, here's where people stand. 803-404-6100. Zach weighs in. Patrick, as a Braves fan, I'm nervous. It's like deja vu. Braves were up 3-1 in 2020, lost 3 in a row. Feel good knowing we have 2 back home. Justin weighs in. You'd love it. He's talking about the little mini city outside the stadium. He says it's right outside the stadium. You'd love it. A mini city outside the stadium. So Braves, maybe the highlight of the weekend. Not a great college football weekend. The South Carolina Gamecocks traveling to Texas A&M. All results. Not good. Not good. Not a lot of faith right now in the South Carolina football team this coming weekend, as I have the poll out on Twitter at Will, WIL, 1L, Gunter, GUNTER, over 125, right at about 125 votes in. I've got 4 options up. Gamecocks pull the upset. A&M wins by 1-9. A&M wins by 10-18. A&M covers the spread. 49% of 125 votes, 49% saying Texas A&M covers the spread, 18% weighing in with South Carolina will pull the upset. We'll talk about that game in the next segment. Patrick, Jen, we'll get your take on what you expect from the offense. Zeb Nolan back in the starting quarterback role after a few weeks out. Luke Doty gone for the season, so you know Zeb has got the ball until he makes mistakes or until Shane Beamer and Marcus Satterfield decide he does not deserve it anymore. We'll talk about the South Carolina offense. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Coming up on 107.5 The Game.
All right.
I gotta go get a script. On my phone. I'll be right back.
Sleep number?
No, not on my phone. It's the Casey Chiropractic script I've got written down on that pad that I bring in.
There's some days that talking is just not something I can do.
Well, I don't. What traffic thing do you use? Do you use the? I guess I don't even know the names of them. The one is very difficult to read.
Yes. The traffic net one is difficult to read. It
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll jump. Like news it's
Yeah.
updating. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
I used to do I can't log into the one that has the colors now. I use the one that's all.
That's
traffic net.
traffic net with the colors.
Okay.
I think there's a different link for the highway patrol.
Yeah, that's the one I read, the Highway Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all lined up, and I try to highlight the one that I'm reading, and then if one updates, then it just erases my highlight, and I'm scrambling to read it all. And
yeah, you can sort it at the top by county, so it'll be alphabetical. That helps.
And I also don't know the roads. I mean, half the time I'm reading, I just decide, okay, I'll read Richland and Lexington because
that's all. Yeah, that's all we'll do. And then from years ago in my days at B106, this thing, which I'm just showing people on the thing, but that gives us like what all the exit numbers are and stuff. So that kind of helps a little bit. To say, because it depends on what they. Oh, don't do that.
I was blowing it up to see if people could read the.
I try.
Oh man, now this is all screwed up.
Messed you up.
There we go. Yeah, I've tried to read that, and I don't even know what's going on with it.
Yeah, so it's kind of helpful, to break things down, and I can still screw it up in a heartbeat. Don't you worry about that. I can still do that, but that does help a little bit too. Piece things together. I have a friend who does traffic updates in Cleveland, and she does up in the copter, and I think I've mentioned her before. She goes by one name for the ABC affiliate that she does it for, but then she'll do some traffic updates for a radio station, and her name's Holly Copter.
Clever.
Very funny. But
Clever.
Mm-hmm.
we got into a lot of mischief with Butler. Good times.
Do we? Our friend Donald, Clemson Donald, tweeted me. Do we think this is the case? He said Jack Trice Stadium is common knowledge if you're a college football fan. All Power 5 stadium names are. Come on. There's no way every Power 5 stadium name is common knowledge. Not. I don't think most people know the names of every stadium.
And certainly may not know the history behind them.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many obscure stadium names. What's Oregon State Stadium called?
So Steve.
I have no clue. I don't think Bill can hear us.
I'm listening to y'all. What'd you say?
Were you listening? Did you hear the tweet I read?
Yeah, I think that guy's a troll. There's no way that the person in that photo is actually him. But
What is the name of Oregon State Stadium?
Oregon
Reeser?
State?
Yeah. I'm just pulling out obscure stadiums that I definitely don't know and see if you would know them.
I just looked it up, but
Yeah, I don't know what that I would.
I'm looking it up, but I
It's
feel like I know
Reeser.
it. Once I look it up, I'm gonna know it. Yeah, Reeser. I did actually know that. I mean, obviously I had to look it up, but Reeser, Reser. I
There's
couldn't
no way to
name them like
Google
that.
that.
Like, there's a lot of them. I think if you were like, hey, like once I look it up, I remember it. I don't know Arizona.
I don't either.
yeah, Carlton, I do that too. There's
I
sometimes
couldn't
there's
know
too many
Washington
sources-
State.
sources.
There's probably a lot on the West Coast I wouldn't know.
All right, you're up.
803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. 7:20 here on a Friday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette. Jen Jensen on the early game coming up in about 20 minutes. Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider will join us to give his picks for the weekend. Want to remind you this weekend, you're watching the South Carolina football game, you get upset, there's a play call you don't like, you can't get in touch with us, don't text us. We don't read Patrick reads the text line. He goes back to the game. Don't text us. We don't read it. What you can do is call the 107.5 The Game and Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline. That will get through to us. 803-978-6654. Your chance to speak your mind whenever you feel like it. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline, sponsored by Twin Peaks for the men who never settle. Go see him down in the Vista at 600 Gervais Street. Again, 803-978-6654. That's this weekend. You can vent anytime during the game you want to. 803-978-6654. Again,
I do it during the show.
Hotline. You call the Twin Peaks hot venting hotline, the hot take hotline during the show.
Yeah. I can't yell at you guys on the air, so I figure I can at least use the hotline.
Explains the shoddy producing work that we get.
People do just call the studio line too. I mean, Captain Dave does the football games, but I've done basketball games, produced basketball games, and we'll just get a phone call, and people just be like, "What are they doing out there?"
See?
I don't know.
It's therapeutic.
I guess so. Like, why are you calling me?
Don't know.
Don't you have somebody else to talk to about this? Just watch the game.
They don't have anybody that maybe has as much knowledge and intelligence and expertise.
Yeah, I guess. And you know what? Some people actually do know that I'm doing it. Like, I'll answer and they'll be like, "Hey, Patrick, what's the problem here?" Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Every time someone calls, I think something's going wrong, and they're calling to tell me like, why is this on? Why is CBS on? Why isn't the game on? And I freak out, and then I answer the phone, and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm unhappy."
Well, what it's there for. That's what we're there for.
It's not what it's there for. It's not what it's there for. That was the whole point.
We are there. We are there to
107.5
help
The Game.
people
What's your name?
unhappiness. Braves fans right now in an interesting position. Day weighs in. He says Max Scherzer's rest will be interesting. He only threw around 80 pitches on Sunday because he said his arm was absolutely dead. And then you've got the anonymous texter weighing in. He said, "I'm super nervous about Atlanta. The series last year and this year have been identical. Braves were up 2-0 in Game 5 and lost last year. They were up 2-0 last night and lost. Up 2-0. I was going to say, I don't think they were up 2 games, though, in the series last night. They were up 2-0 last night and lost both Game 5s, had a Dodger that hit multiple home runs. Hopefully, Game 6 and 7 are different. Glad it's heading back to Atlanta."
Who are the Braves throwing, by the way? Somebody tell me who the Braves are throwing. Give me a brief scouting report or how Braves fans feel about said pitcher.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that.
That's what is currently taking place there in Atlanta. Tomorrow, South Carolina and Texas A&M, I kind of brought it up there in the last segment. Zeb Nolan back in at the quarterback position. The last time we saw him, he was throwing a very long pass to Josh Van down the sideline and then getting his hand stepped on that knocked him out of the game against Georgia. South Carolina probably doesn't win that game. I mean, well, I'll say probably. You never know. Never know. But they likely don't win that game with Zeb Nolan playing quarterback. But Patrick, what do you expect from the offense? Like, do you expect any improvement? Do you expect the same offense that you've seen now for 7 weeks? Like, I do think it's interesting. You probably get a better passer in Zeb Nolan. And I only say probably because it feels like people have just blocked out the first half of the East Carolina game where Zeb Nolan couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. That was the truth. I'm not making fun of the young man. It was not a good first half against East Carolina. He did bounce back. They won the game. Jalen Brooks is not expected back tomorrow, by the way, either. Personal issues. No real word on what's wrong with him. But you get Zeb Nolan back in. Do you expect a different offense, at least a slight improvement? Do you expect a step backwards? What are you going with here?
No, I mean, I don't necessarily. There's not too far backwards that you can step. I don't feel optimistic. I mean, Texas A&M's defense they're not world beaters, but they're good, and this is going to be a good environment. I don't know why anything would change at this point based off what we've seen. It's not like we haven't seen Zeb Nolan. So he is a better passer. I guess the passing offense will be better. Maybe he throws the ball slightly better, but at the same time, he's going to be stuck in the pocket. Whereas at least Luke Doty could break the pocket and maybe just find someone, coming back or ad-libbing a little bit when things break down. Everything's going to be from the pocket. Is South Carolina going to be able to pass protect and give Zeb enough time to sit back and deal and scan the field? I doubt it. I really doubt it. Is South Carolina's running game going to be able to get it going to where Texas A&M needs to respect them, and that in turn buys the time or buys a packed box and guys can get open? I doubt it. It's really going to come down to South Carolina receivers winning individual battles, I think, because at the end of the day, Zeb's going to have to put some balls up there, and Josh Van's going to have to go try and make a play. Maybe Nick Muse or Jaheim Bell's going to have to go up there and beat someone in contested catch situations. But no, I hate saying it, but I don't necessarily see any logical basis for a lot of optimism that things are going to turn around tomorrow.
If you had to take a guess of one improving tomorrow, one aspect of the offense improving tomorrow, run game or pass game, and it's likely that neither improve, but if you had to guess at one improving, because either Texas A&M is a little more fearful of the deep pass, so they back off and the run game's got more room, or Zeb Nolan just being a better passer, what do you think has the chance to take a step forward tomorrow? Passing game or run game? And again, I know people say, well, Zeb Nolan's a better passer. Well, Texas A&M may play for that. And look, I think South Carolina's run game has been slightly improved. Of course, you couldn't go much further backwards than you did go early in the season with the run game. But it does make me wonder, Zeb Nolan showed he can hit the deep ball. We saw that again in the early games. We did see that from Zeb Nolan. Texas A&M's got to be alert of that. It wouldn't surprise me if South Carolina was able to hit a deep one early on. But could you see a scenario where the run game, maybe because of the pass game, gets going a little bit earlier? And how much do we see Zaquandre White tomorrow? That's a big question as well.
I don't know what's going on with that running back room, but as far as the deep balls, I mean, we saw Zeb. Did we see him like dropping dimes? I mean, there were a couple with like the quick snap against Georgia in basically his one drive. He had that one shot at Josh Van when Georgia was not set up, but other than that, I really thought it was just Josh Van kind of making plays. Like I can think of two particular deeper shots where Josh Van just went up and snatched away from the defender. I don't know that we've seen Zeb consistently. I guess at the end of East Carolina, it was kind of day and night, the first and second halves, where the first half he was very inaccurate, and then the second half he kind of dropped a couple in the bucket. But no, I just can't see that being the thing that unlocks the running game. It's just, I don't know how much longer we can say maybe this is the week that the offensive line, the continuity works and they start putting things together, or there's a new scheme that they put in, and if it's the pin and pull, if it's whatever it is, Satterfield implements something that this offensive line is more comfortable with, and we can kind of unlock a little bit of that magic that we had last year with Kevin Harrison, still a below average offensive line. I just don't know. No, I don't see it happening. I don't see the Zeb Nolan impact drastically changing the running game. I do see potentially Zaquandre White. He does seem like he brings a dose of electricity to that running back room altogether, though.
803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines and listen to Young Sean. Young Sean, not Clemson Sean. Young Sean and his take on the game this weekend. Sean, how you doing this morning? You off to school or you got the day off?
I'm going to school.
Good kid. Good. That's what you need to do.
I'm excited about the Gamecocks, and I hope it just doesn't get out of hand.
Okay. All right. You got a score prediction for us?
I'm thinking the score prediction will be like 40-40, and the Gamecocks get the touchdown, so it goes to 46.
So 46-40. Gamecocks win. Maybe in overtime. Don't have to kick the extra point.
Yes. Sir.
You're doing a fantastic job. What grade are you in, Sean?
46-40.
I'm in 4th grade.
Fourth
and I
grade.
also just hope Shane Beamer doesn't go so crazy on them and just gives them good advice to try and win the game.
All right, buddy. Good. Thank you for calling in this morning. I hope you have a great day at school. I hope you have a fabulous week. And tell your mom or dad, whoever's driving you to school, tell them Bill Gunner said to stop and get you a donut before you go to school. I got a whole box over here. I'd offer you
Tell
one.
him there's no donut places on the way.
There's no donut places on the
That's
way.
all right, Dad. You
Dad,
just find the nearest donut place. School can wait a few minutes. Nothing happens within
He
the
should have
first
planned
10 minutes.
ahead, gotten him the day
Yeah, you
before,
call
warm
in,
him
your
up.
kid gets a donut. That's what
Thank
happens
y'all.
when your kids call. Thank you for the phone
He's
call.
never
Y'all have
calling back.
Yeah, no, you call in, you get a donut. I got a whole box of it. I'd offer. If we were at the studio, I'd say come. Or if I was at the studio, I'd say come by, but not there this morning. There was an issue trying to get down there, so I'm at the house. 803-404-6100 coming up in about 10 minutes. Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider and MajorWager.com handicapper will join us to give his picks for the weekend coming up in about 35 minutes. Chris Deering with Prep Red Zone will speak with us to give us the high school update. And coming up in about an hour, Patrick and I will give our picks for the weekend. We got a busy morning. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. Hope everybody is up and rolling. Sean, good luck at school today, buddy. 4th grade. Go get them. And tell Dad to have you a donut, if not today, in the morning. There's no better way to wake up on a Saturday morning with a donut. Appreciate the phone call. He doesn't know where I live. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. My athletic days are over. Old age. Just I can't do what I used to do, and back hurts. That's why when I get a little sore, I give Dr. Pate, Dr. Roman Cooper, Casey Chiropractic a phone call. 803-796-2424. I get in touch with them because, well, I need them to work on me, and I don't want to have surgery. I try the natural approach before the surgical approach. If I've got neck pain, back pain, tingling in my shoulders, old. We got about to get on a plane this morning and fly out to Vegas. It's probably going to be cramped. I do have the window seat. Chad McMurray's going to sit next to me. He's going to have to deal with me complaining about the tight, cramped spaces. When I come back, I'm going to have to call Dr. Pate, Dr. Roman Cooper, get him to work on me. Research proves spinal decompression has excellent long-term effectiveness, even 4 years later. So you know what phone number I'll be calling when I get back on Tuesday morning? 803-796-2424. I'll go to the experts, 40 years of experience in the business. Why would I not go see Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper for my issues? And I encourage you to go see them as well. If you're experiencing any of those tingling in your shoulders and your neck, problems in your lower back, they will take care of you. You know why? Because they're in the business of getting people out of pain. Dr. Pate, Dr. Roman Cooper, Casey Chiropractic Center. Don't wait around. Give them a phone call today. 803-796-2424. That is a big spider. What in the heck? Oh my goodness. Can you see this? Where did this spider come from on my floor? Can you see that? Is that?
No.
I think I'm.
Point at it. Is it on the floor? Standing still? I think maybe I can see it. Is that it? Is that it? Point at it. Yeah, I do see it then.
I mean, is it a
Kill it.
wolf spider?
Kill it.
I don't want to kill it.
Step on it. What do you...
outside so something else kills it. I'm going on a plane. I don't want that juju on me, Ricky Bobby.
You're going on a plane. You want it to bite you?
No, I don't want to get. It's not gonna bite me. I mean, I don't
How
think
do you
it's
know?
gonna bite me.
How do you know?
I don't yet. Bottom line is, I don't want to kill it. I mean, karma. All right, buddy, just get on the paper. No.
Should have killed it. Should have killed it.
So if this doesn't, we're just going to capture this and put that out in our promotions to encourage live stream subscribers, because clearly this will boost us over 1,000.
He's outside. He's
Sure.
good. Oh, now.
This is subscription worthy right here.
No. There you go. He can be eaten by a bird or something else. Jen, how do we stand on maybe being able to combine here, or what do we got going? Otherwise, I'm going to make this extremely short because I want to get to Brian here about as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, not Spider Whisperer, but that was definitely quite the experience. So now I can feel good. I'm flying Spirit Airlines. So, if you're familiar with Spirit Airlines, you know that I didn't need any bad karma or juju starting off the morning there.
Maybe somebody will get taped to a seat while you're there. That'd be exciting. You see that video?
Yeah.
I didn't see the video, but I know what you're talking about. Bring Sean on down. I think we have. We are supposed to have. I haven't told Jen and Patrick this, so Jen and Patrick are about to learn something at the same time the live streamers are learning it. Next Wednesday morning, around 8:30ish, Frank Martin is supposed to join us in studio.
Nice.
So Frank Martin in studio on the live stream next Wednesday morning.
8:30. Okay.
Roughly 8:30ish. Yeah, into the show. So, yeah, I didn't tell Jen and Patrick that, but I got that confirmed yesterday. So,
Awesome.
next week.
Should probably start researching our team so I remember some of these transfers' names, because right now I probably can't name you.
Yes, please show up next Wednesday with a little bit of knowledge.
How many of the transfers can you name?
Well, I mean, I can name all of them. Chico
Who are
Carter, Eric Stevenson, AJ Wilson.
And where'd they come from?
James Reese. Oh, why did I just forget the big kid? Oh, Josh Gray. Josh Gray. Is that it? That's 5, right? And then
I don't know how many there were.
Taquan Woodley, Devin Carter, and Jacoby Wright that's 8. That's the 8 guys. 8 new guys.
I figured I would catch back up on all of that basically the week of the first game.
Jen, what do we got planned here? Where do we stand?
I've gotten some things shifted, so once we go in and talk to him, you'll be good to the end.
Okay. So if you want to go ahead and call him here in just a minute.
Yep. Okay. Do I?
You should have his number from last week. If not, I can send it.
I should have it.
Yeah, and Brandon Martin. That's a good one there, Jim. I forgot about him.
I just sent you a text.
I believe that is correct, Jen. I believe
Okay,
that is.
I had the wrong last name in my phone, so all right, hang on.
All right, we'll get started and just. No, hey, 404. Jen, 404. I'm sending it. I'm texting you right now. I don't know what number you just sent me. Active. If you are not on the live stream, Patrick, how do you get my spider taming skills? What grade do you give my that was I
mean, the spider's not tame, it's just not in your house anymore.
It's true. There was a
I would have just killed it if I was you.
A large spider. Well, one, I just had the tiles redone by Zero Res. I didn't want to get spider all over the tile. Plus, I'm getting on a plane here in a few hours. I didn't want that bad mojo or whatever on me.
See, I was thinking the exact opposite way. You're about to get on a plane, so I was saying don't get bit by a spider before you're about to go to Vegas.
I wasn't gonna get if you weren't on the live stream, you didn't see it. It was a wild situation. House crazy. But I got the spider.
It was wild.
I got the spider out of the house. Put him outside so that nature can run its course. I think I read an article a while back that like spiders that are typically inside, if you throw them outside, they don't survive. Have you seen that article? Domesticated inside spiders don't typically make it outside very long.
What makes you think that was a domesticated indoor spider? Because it was in your house?
Really terrified of me. Looks like he's seen me around the house a couple times. He or she.
Definitely could have just come in through the sliding door right behind you, right?
I mean, if it knows how to open the door, I hadn't opened that door in a couple days. Yes. Yes, you're right. Could have just come right on in. 803-404-6100. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider. Thank you, RL, who says he's impressed I did not scream, was watching on the live stream. So, yes, Alan says, oh, dear Lord. Yeah, it was quite the scene on the live stream. Quite the scene. Let's go out to the Love Chevy phone lines now. Good buddy of ours. He's wide awake this morning, Patrick. He's wide awake. He's ready to go. Brian Edwards. You can check him out. He is the senior handicapper at VegasInsider.com. You can also check out his work on MajorWager.com. Brian, I am heading out to Vegas here in just a few hours. Let's see, about 5 hours to be precise. 1:32 is flight time out of Charlotte today. I need some winners, man. I need you to tell me what I am taking this weekend and just be my Vegas coach. Welcome in this morning. Glad you're awake.
What's up, buddy? Good morning, man. Jealous that you're getting out to Vegas this weekend. Won't we start tonight? You should be out there in time for a little it'll be early evening action in Vegas, but kind of late night for us on the East Coast. And Colorado State is at Utah State, and just throw away what Colorado State did in the first 2 weeks which was awful. They lost at home to Vanderbilt, and they got beat by 19 by an FCS team. But ever since then, Colorado State and Steve Adazio's team has been outstanding. They've won 3 of 4, going 4-0 against the spread. And the only loss was at Iowa, and they were ahead by 7 midway through the third quarter in that game and easily covered. They're at Utah State tonight. Some books had gotten down to 3 last night, and it looks like actually all books are at 3, and even FanDuel's at 2.5. It had been at 3.5, so I like that because I thought I was getting a good number at 3 yesterday. They're 2-1 straight up, 3-0 against the spread in 3 road games. Laying 3 at Utah State, which is better than an 0-3 against the spread slump. They won one of those 3. They won at winless UNLV. Although when I went to sleep last night, UNLV was winning. I don't know if they held on. But anyhow, Utah State is struggling. Colorado State is hot. The Colorado State -3 at Utah State. And one more stat on that, the Aggies are in an abysmal 3-12 against the spread slump, and their last 15 is home underdogs.
Brian, I've spent the last hour and 45 minutes lamenting the college football slate and how there's no ranked matchups and how nothing really excites me. Does that ever happen to you? I mean, you look at it a totally different way from the gambling perspective, but is there ever a weekend where you're just like, I don't love any of these games or none of these numbers jump out at you? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but if you're from a gambling perspective, you just got to look at it like they all pay the same. But no, I hear what you're saying. And even on the TV slate, I don't think there's a game that kicks off like maybe it's past 9 p.m. Eastern this week. I saw some people bitching about it on Twitter the other day.
All we have is that Hawaii midnight game.
There's not a lot to like about this card, but from a gambling perspective, we can find winners. So but I understand. I get everything you're saying.
Brian Edwards, senior handicapper with VegasInsider.com. You can check out his work on MajorWager.com as well. Joins us every week. Brian, one of Patrick's teams is Maryland. You're going the other way this weekend. It's Maryland and Minnesota. Minnesota's minus the 4.5. A few reasons why you like the Gophers to cover the spread against Maryland.
Well, on the Maryland side of things, they got off to the nice 4-0 start, but then in the first half, when it was still a close game against Iowa, they lose their best player, Dante Demas, great wide receiver. I don't know about after the injury, but, some projected him as a potential first-round pick. And now they've also lost starting wide receiver Jashawn Jones and a starter on defense. Maybe he can correct my mispronunciation here. Terrell Nachami, who had 3 sacks and 1 forced fumble. He's also out for the season. So 3 key players for Maryland are out. And the Gophers have won 4 of their last 5. They're in revenge mode here. They lost in overtime to Maryland. I want to say they missed an extra point, if memory serves, in that overtime. And of the 4 wins in their last 5, Minnesota's got a nice win at Purdue. They covered for me as home dogs against Nebraska last week. And I like what Minnesota is doing here lately, and it looks like Maryland's season is taking a turn for the worse, partly because of personnel losses. So I'll go with the Gophers. It was down to 4.5 last night, so if you can buy the half point to 4, I think 4 is a key number, just like 3, 21-17, 28-24. So I like the Gophers.
Couple first half lines that I see you liking here. Again, Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider, senior handicapper there. Make sure you go check out his work. He does a phenomenal job. He should be required Saturday morning reading as you prepare for the college game day. A couple first half lines, Alabama and Tennessee and Texas A&M, South Carolina. You've sent me first half lines that you're kind of on.
Yeah, so A&M minus 11.5 against South Carolina. I really like this one. A&M has caught fire, and South Carolina in its 3 road games, they were down 38-7 at halftime to Tennessee. They were down 26-6 at halftime to Georgia. They were only down 14-7 at East Carolina, but they had gotten a pick 6 with around the 2-minute mark, or maybe even less than 2 minutes, when East Carolina was on the fringe of field goal range to potentially go up 17-0. So I just think A&M is going to run the ball with Spiller. I mean, I like South Carolina's defense, but I just don't see them getting much offense in this game. And I like A&M minus 11.5 in the first half. In terms of the Alabama one, I was able to get it at 14 yesterday. I think most books have moved to 14.5 or 15. And from some information I gathered yesterday, I'm thinking Hendon Hooker probably has a chance to play here, where I wasn't really thinking that beforehand. So if it's more than 14 and we find out, whether it's today or tomorrow, that Hooker is going to play, maybe just a little less on Bama or pass altogether, because Hooker has been the catalyst of why Tennessee's played well. It's a major downgrade when Joe Milton goes in there. But I'm also questioning whether Hooker is fully healthy, and Cade Mays, their best O-lineman, is doubtful, and then Tion Evans, their best running back. They have several running backs, but their starter is also iffy. So I'm more bullish on the A&M one because of some circumstances with the line on Alabama and Hooker maybe being able to play.
Again, he is Brian Edwards, VegasInsider.com senior handicapper, and you can check out his work. Go to MajorWager.com is the place to do that. I don't know if you just sent this to me because you really like it. I label it as your under the radar pick of the week. I know, again, a lot of people like to bet the big games, the television games. You've got Louisiana Tech at Texas San Antonio, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Texas San Antonio 6-0 on the season against the spread, but you're going the other way this weekend.
Well, they're 7-0 straight up. I know they've covered most of them. I think they've got one non-cover in there, but anyhow, it's the 8th game in 8 weeks for UTSA. La Tech is a very good 2-4, if that makes sense. Still undefeated SMU had to hit a Hail Mary on the game's final play from like 55, 60 yards just to beat La Tech. La Tech had a 34-14 lead at Mississippi State. Mississippi State rallies and wins 35-34. Skip Holtz 3-1 against the spread his last 4 as a home underdog. La Tech also played NC State tough in Raleigh. They only lost by 7, and they've only been beaten by more than 7, once this year. And the Roadrunners, their last 2 on the road, they won by 6 at Western Kentucky, won by 3 at Memphis. They've been kind of flirting with defeat. And again, 8 game in 8 weeks, La Tech in bounce back mode at home as a dog. If the number's 6.5, I'd buy the half point. The key number is 7, but I like Skip Holtz and the Bulldogs.
Again, he's Brian Edwards, VegasInsider.com is how you can get in touch with him. You can check him out on Twitter at Vegas B. Edwards. Patrick, you got something that you particularly need to know about?
Yeah, I'm curious about mostly the thought process. So the Ole Miss LSU looks like it opened at 12 and it's actually moved LSU's direction. I'm guessing that has more to do with Matt Corral's status than anything else. But what do you think about that game? And do you ever buy into like the emotional high storylines, or LSU's going to play inspired because it's the first game since O's announcement and anything like that? Does that ever factor into your equation?
Sure. Little storylines that factor in all the time. How big a rivalry is. Florida Georgia next week. I think Florida's going to play tough, even though they've looked really bad here lately. And in this game, you're exactly right. I made Ole Miss a 12.5 point favorite. The books were right there around 12 as well. And the line has completely gone down off of what Kiffin said. I don't know if it was Monday morning or late Sunday about Corral. Look, if Corral gets upgraded, and we may not know that till half an hour before kick tomorrow, if the line is less than 10 and Corral's going to play, I like Ole Miss, but I'm not putting a penny on it until I know that. Obviously, John Rice Plumlee is the only other guy that's gotten snaps the last couple of years at quarterback, so I don't really know. I can look at my magazine and see who's listed on the roster, but I haven't seen any of the backups play for Ole Miss, and Plumlee's now playing wide receiver, so I don't want anything to do with it if Corral's out. If the number's less than 10 and Corral's in, I do want it. In terms of the rally cry with Eddie O, I think we had their rally cry game last week, and I think LSU kind of comes back to life, knows they don't really have a coach that's going to be around, and there's not really any accountability. And I think we saw their rally cry game last week. And but then again, if Corral doesn't play and they have some good things happen early, who knows what will happen in Oxford. But with Corral less than 10, I like Ole Miss.
Let's let you out on Clemson 3-point underdog at Pittsburgh. I don't know if you like this game either way, but your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's playing great football. Clemson obviously has just a deplorable offense. And I have not pulled the trigger on Pitt, but I did notice it was no longer 3.5 last night. It was just 3. If it's 3, I lean Pitt. Not a huge play, but Kenny Pickett is playing great football. Their only loss is to Western Michigan, 44-41, but they've gotten their defense straightened out since then. That Western Michigan team is the best team in the MAC, in my opinion, with a really good quarterback. So I'll probably be on Pitt, and I certainly lean that way.
Wow, great weekend then out in Vegas. I got all the picks written down, Brian. Hope you have a great weekend as well, buddy. We look forward to catching up with you next Thursday.
You too, Gunner. Get some of those Pats -7 against the Jets, too. Thanks, guys.
Oh, Pat, I forgot he sent that one in as well. He is on one of his picks of the week. Patrick, New England, -7 against the smelly Jets.
I like it.
Write that one down as well. Brian Edwards, VegasInsider.com, MajorWager.com is where you can check out his work. He is phenomenal. Last week had a great week. Pulling forward to have another good one. We got another hour in front of us in 10 minutes. Chris Deering will give you the high school breakdown. Patrick and I will give you our picks and your opinions as well. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game. There you go, Bill. Got that in for you. Of course, I didn't want to get that one. I didn't want to get to the Clemson game.
All right, let's what were the last two we want, Bill? Do we want Alabama, Tennessee? Do we want Oregon, UCLA? I guess the last one. We'll do Oklahoma State and Iowa State. But do we want Oregon, UCLA, Alabama, Tennessee, or Notre Dame, Southern Cal?
I say go with the game day game. Oregon, UCLA. That'll work. That'll work.
We're just throwing darts on that one. I have no freaking clue about that.
That'll be good. All righty.
What do you want this Iowa State number at? 6.5 or 7.5? I feel like that could really, when it's sitting right there at 7, it does make it more difficult too.
Let's see. Go at FanDuel has it 7.5, so just go 7.5.
All right, we'll take 7.5. That just changes everything.
Oh, it changes everything according to the Perret.
Well, that's like the biggest key number in all of gambling.
Well, that's why we make it difficult. It's like riding a horse. If you're comfortable, you're doing it incorrectly. Oh, man. I wonder if I'm going to be able to sleep on this plane for a few hours, just catch a quick nap. So is this Dune movie, is this basically another, I mean, it's not connected with Star Wars, but is it essentially Star Wars?
No. Come on. Every
Not
space
the same
movie,
as Star Wars?
Every space movie is not like Star Wars. Though I don't know. I've been purposely trying not to find out. It's based off a book, series of books, I think, and there has been a Dune movie in the past. This is a newer version, but the director's awesome. The cast is awesome. It's going to be awesome. What I have heard it described as is like Game of Thrones in space, or Game of Thrones in an alternate universe, a sci-fi universe. I'm expecting big things. And it's on HBO Max right now, but I don't think it's going to be hard for me to sit in my house and not just watch on HBO Max, but I am going to try and hold out and see this thing in a theater.
John, don't encourage him. No. Talking about the flying outfit. No.
Oh, no. We don't even know.
My fault. This is it. I do not like going on a plane and the potential of getting cold. So it will be jeans and a long sleeve shirt. There is few feelings more uncomfortable than being on a plane and being slightly cold.
Yeah, it's always good to layer on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah, Hope, Patrick should be in charge of the live stream there. Patrick does a heck of a job with the live stream.
And I did confirm with Tommy that the Braves are his second. So he's definitely cheering on the Braves.
Yep, he sent us. I meant to. He sent Patrick and I a text message.
Oh, did he? Okay.
That's right. You'll get some Tommy Moody on the live stream. So when Tommy goes on one of his Joe Pesci-esque cussing sprees, just shield the kid's ears.
Yeah, he's pretty salty.
He's going to be. If the Red Sox go down, Tommy Moody could come in it could just be a grumpy Monday.
And if you're somebody who is very much save the trees, don't tune in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tommy does not operate with electronics to keep up.
Copious amounts of paper. So if that offends you, you need to take Monday and Tuesday off.
Patrick, you might want to bring in goggles so you don't get taken out by a flying piece of paper.
I used to tease him. I'm like, hey, I've got a fan over there. You want me to bring it in? No. Sharp, let's see, highlighters and paper. Yep. He's a good guy.
Patrick, did you get all those games? So to replay, Brian Edwards' picks are Colorado State -3, Minnesota -4.5, Louisiana Tech +7. He's buying the hook. He likes Alabama. He likes Alabama and Texas A&M in the first half. He likes Ole Miss if Matt Corral is upgraded, and the New England Patriots -7 against the Jets.
I actually got everything I needed on that last thing he said. Pats -7. I might just bet all of my free play on that and just see what I can do.
Colorado State at Utah State is at 9:30 tonight. So I'll have time to get out to Vegas and get that in. And then blow it all on the craps table. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Tommy will keep Tommy entertained. Just if Tommy's like anything on the live stream like he is when we had to do our Zoom meetings, it'll be quite entertaining. Oh, I guess I should do some research real quick, and I might put some money down on Chase Elliott for the weekend too.
I think he's going to fight. I really do. I think that's a good pick.
He's got to. He needs to win to get into the Final Four.
Points wise, he's not too far back, I don't think. But
Nah, I think he was only like 40 or maybe 8. I think he was 8 back.
yeah, so he could slide in if somebody in the top 4 drops.
All right, let's see. I should have the games. We get Deering here in a second.
Yep.
And we're back. The final 50 minutes. Big thank you to Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com, Vegas Insider Senior Handicapper, as he gave his predicts in the previous segment. If you missed those, anything you missed, you can go back and check us out on the 107.5 The Game YouTube page, where you can watch the live stream. You can replay it. You can also check out the 1075thegame.com website for the podcast page that we have there. Jen will have that particular segment up within the hour. Give her some time. She's a busy person there in the studio. We try 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes. So she'll have that up. So anything you've missed, you can go to the podcast page on our website, 1075 The Game, or anything that you want to watch. If you missed me tracking down a spider earlier in the house here in the house and getting it outside because I didn't want any bad karma or mojo as I get on a plane, you can see that on the live stream. You can see Patrick's angry, puzzled face as well. The hard work that Jen puts in. You just go to the 1075 The Game YouTube page and click on the link, and you can watch there. You can watch that stays up. We appreciate it if you subscribe. If you want to weigh in here in the next hour, 803-404-6100 coming up here in about a minute. We're going to catch up with Chris Deering and get the weekend take on tonight's high school action. Carleton weighing in. Swansea at Brooklyn Casey. I think we finally got to the bottom of the Brooklyn Casey name of the stadium saga last week. We'll get more from Chris on that in just a second.
We got to the bottom of it? I thought we were left even more confused.
But they have multiple names. They're kind of like me.
Okay.
The Cage, Fort Knox, the Den, the stadium, home. It's all kinds of stuff over there. So it's brand new. So we'll do that. We'll catch up with Chris here in just a second. And then coming up in about 20 minutes, Patrick and I will give our picks for the weekend. It's a scintillating segment you never want to miss. 803-404-6100, the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, or the Love Chevy phone lines. Anything you want to weigh in, you can do that as well. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines, the guest line. Chris Deering, you can follow him on Twitter at CDeering81. Does fantastic work. Is it 81, Chris, or 82? Why did I just completely blank on what the number is on your Twitter handle? 80. I should know that. The year of my birth. That's a very good year. Very good year. Chris works with Prep Red Zone Network. Again, you can follow him tonight. Where are you going to be at tonight? What is the game of choice for Chris Deering?
I've been going back and forth all week, but I think I finally decided to go to Irmo at Westwood. It's two schools I've not seen yet this year. So I think I'm going to head over to Westwood and take that one in. Irmo picked up a big win last week over AC Flora. Have a chance to win the region tonight. So very exciting time for Irmo. Really good offense that they have. Looking forward to seeing some of the guys that they have on that team. And also got the USC commit that plays for Irmo that's on defense. So very excited to see those guys, and it should be a good game over at Westwood tonight.
Yeah, I'll be interested. Remind us next week. I may forget, and if I do, just give us when we get you back on next Friday a scouting report. Nick Emanuele, I believe, is how you say it. Maybe you'll also get us a pronunciation next week when you come on. 106. Yeah. Get the pronunciation, then give us a scouting report. 106 solo stops for him this year. 6'3", 210 pounds. He's kind of a safety linebacker. You mentioned that Irmo Westwood game, and a lot of really good players in that. Chris, you're from this state. You're familiar. I growing up in Lexington, Irmo was good. It's fun to see them back with a chance to win Region 4 4A tonight, and just talk about what you've seen from that program over the last few years. They've really, I think, rebuilt themselves into a Midlands power.
Yeah, I think they really have. Aaron Brand is there now. He's the coach, and he coached under Tom Knox in North Carolina, so he knows what he's doing. He's come to Irmo now, and he's got that program back in the right direction. They did get a benefit this year. The Isaiah Whiteside kid, he transferred in.
So that's been a big help at the quarterback position. And it is good to see Irmo back. You know, there were a couple years there that you go over to WC Hawkins Stadium and the crowd would be minimal, and Irmo didn't have much of a chance when they were playing, but now they're back, and I think they got a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. That was a big win last week over AC Flora. You know, AC Flora was top ranked, and they did a really good job. They scored 28 points. That was the most Flora has allowed this year. So it's nice to see them back. And you know, when I first came to Columbia, Irmo was a pretty big deal in pretty much all sports, and it's dropped off a little bit. You know, basketball is still being good under Tim Whipple, but it's good to see them come back in a lot of sports right now.
One of the discussions that we've had here all week is quarterback play for the University of South Carolina, and obviously the Luke Doty injury, Zeb Nolan stepping in. Quarterback recruiting in the future is going to be huge. One of the guys that South Carolina has offered will be showcased tonight. River Bluff is at Chapin. Jaden Bradford, right at 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns this year. Thoughts on River Bluff at Chapin tonight? Also, your thoughts on Jaden Bradford, a junior quarterback, will be a senior next year, but certainly a guy that Chris, you follow South Carolina football. You got, I think it's Jaden Daniels in the upstate. You got Jaden Bradford right here. I have yet to see Bradford, but when we talk about South Carolina recruiting quarterbacks, and Bradford's got a lot of offers. I think he was at Virginia Tech last weekend. What have you seen from him, and how important of an in-state recruit is that for the University of South Carolina? And then your thoughts on that game tonight. We lose me or Chris?
No, we lost Chris.
Uh-oh.
We lost Chris.
Yeah, no, we probably lost Chris.
He didn't pay the phone bill.
Get him back.
I think
Maybe we
they're
didn't.
they're gonna win, and I think he's good.
I got a text message too. Jaden's a sophomore, so he's really good. He's a sophomore. He's not even a junior. We'll get more on that. That's why I offended Chris by calling Jaden Bradford a sophomore.
He said that's enough of that.
He's like, this program's so unknowledgeable. I am just leaving the program. I'm not going to be a part of it anymore. Gunner doesn't know what he's talking about. He's calling Bradford a junior. That's it. I'm out of here. So he just checked out. Oh, good. He's back.
We'll try it again.
He was frustrated at first.
Ask it right this time, Bill.
Okay. Yeah. Jaden Bradden's a soft. How much did you hear of what I said? I had a nice long thing that I led into.
I getting ready to answer. So, I was correcting you that he was a sophomore and has 2 more years of high school. So I would tell you, Jaden Bradford he's the real deal. I've seen him twice, I think. Well, I've seen him twice this year plus a jamboree. So I've seen him because I wanted to see, you know, what type of quarterback he was. And I tell you, he's a kid as a sophomore that you don't know if Chapin's winning by 40 or losing by 40. He's very calm. He stays even keel. And, you know, in that position, I think that's something you need. And, you know, he's got some talent around him. No mistake about that. But Jaden is the guy that makes that offense run. He's got a great receiver in Xavier Short. He's going to Appalachian State. That's a good offense at Chapin. If they could get the defense to play a little bit better, you know, they might make a run in 5A, but defense is where they struggle a little bit. But I like Bradford as a quarterback. I do think the offers are going to keep coming. I do know you said he went to Virginia Tech. He's gone to South Carolina. He's gone to Penn State. I think he's got a visit planned for Notre Dame later. So he's gone to the big boys, and he's seen a lot of them. So his recruiting is only going to heat up. He likes it out in Chapin, so, you know, I don't think there's a danger of he might transfer and go somewhere else and play, but I think he's entrenched at Chapin, and he's going to be fun to watch over the next 2 years. As far as the River Bluff game, you know, River Bluff has struggled a little bit this year. They've had some questions at the quarterback position, and that sort of hurt them a little bit. So I think Chapin wins tonight, and that sets up sort of a showdown next week with Lexington, which they play Dutch Fork tonight. I think Dutch Fork wins that one. So that'll set up probably a showdown for number 2 in that region next week and some home playoff games.
He, again, is Chris Deering. Follow him tonight at cdeering82. Does a phenomenal job for Prep Red Zone Network there that you can follow and get all your high school updates from tonight's game. Again, Chris says he will be at the Irmo Westwood game, so you can certainly follow along for updates there. You mentioned Lexington. Lexington at Dutch Fork tonight. Antonio Williams, big-time wide receiver from Dutch Fork, right at about 1,500 all-purpose yards, 11 touchdowns on the season. Picked up another big offer from Texas yesterday. Chris, do you hear anything on his recruitment? But also Lexington, does my alma mater have a chance against the Tom Knotts battleship over there that just steamrolls everybody?
Well, I answer that part first. I don't think so. But that's no
excellent.
knock on
Good to hear.
Lexington. Not many people do have a chance playing at Dutch Fork, and it's just amazing. You know, I've been given a stat when I call into the scoreboard show on Friday nights. It's been over 5 games since Dutch Fork has punted, and I've never seen that on a rec league level, a middle school JV B team, but they haven't punted since the second game of the season. So that's just an amazing stat to me, and I'm gonna follow it till they punt again. So maybe the key to election tonight is can they force Dutch Fork to punt? But back to Antonio Williams, he's a great receiver, great kid too. I talked to him a couple weeks ago after the Chapin game. I talked to his mother. Very humble, very low key. He really don't like all the recruiting attention, believe it or not. He wants to stay low key and behind the scenes, and he does got a big decision to make. I don't know if he's gonna be an early enrollee, so he might have a little bit longer than some, but he's got a lot of offers. He's got a lot of things to figure out, and I'm pulling for him wherever he goes. I think he's a great kid and really humble, really low key, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future.
One more to get to tonight. Big game in Region 5, 3A. Strom Thurmond at Gilbert. 4-way tie there for that. Gilbert's got a really good running back. These two teams, they've played some really close games lately. Your thoughts on Strom Thurmond traveling to Gilbert America, as they call it, tonight for a big game there in Region 5, 3A?
No, that is a big game because, you know, there was a 4-way tie, like you said. Orangeburg Wilkinson played last night, so they've won. And now you got Strom Thurmond and Gilbert and Brooklyn Casey all at 2-1 in the region. OW is 3-1. So the winner of this game, you know, stays in contention for the region championship. That's going to be a fun one. I did think about briefly going to that one, but I've already seen Gilbert this year, so I decided to go over to Westwood. But historically, those two teams that have played for the region, Brooklyn Casey's snuck in there a couple of times recently, but this is a good rivalry. I mean, these teams play football the way it's supposed to be played, and this one might be over by like 9:30 because they can get up and run the football and not really throw it all over the field like a lot of teams do. So that should be a fun one to watch, and that's go a long ways in determining that region champion.
Again, he's Chris Deering. Follow him tonight. C Deering 82 does a phenomenal job. I've always enjoyed his work. It's always been a good friend of mine. I appreciate you, Chris. You come on and you offer great insight each and every morning. We're glad to have you. Again, follow him on the Prep Red Zone Network. Real quick, are you a baseball guy? Have you followed the Braves and the Dodgers much here? Do you have an opinion on that series this weekend?
Yeah, I've lacked sleep this week because of that series.
Oh boy.
You know, I was hoping the Braves could wrap it up last night, but you know, the pitching just didn't hold up. But let's hope the Dodgers got a lot of their hits out of their system. And I actually got a buddy here I work with during the day. He's heading over to Atlanta to go to Game 6 tomorrow. So let's hope he has something to celebrate. If they go 2 years in a row and lose a 3-1 advantage to the Dodgers, that's going to be really devastating for Brave fans. So let's hope for the best this weekend. And we got a World Series to watch here locally coming up next week.
Good man. Good man. Chris, appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Enjoy the games. We look forward to catching up with you, getting those the pronunciation of the Irmo linebacker safety next week. We're counting on you for that.
Sounds good. You guys have a great weekend.
You too, Chris. Chris Deering, again, PrepRedZoneNetwork.com, the place you can check him out. You can follow him on Twitter at CDeering82. Does a phenomenal job. One of the best in the state when it comes to following the high school sports. Patrick and I are set to give our picks. We'll see if we can follow up what was a disastrous last week for me, a solid last week for Patrick. We'll have our 5 picks and our money ball game. We still got to figure out a punishment for the loser. I've got to pay. I'll have to probably pay up something. We've got some ideas, some plans. We'll get to those picks when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. All right, you got the game for us?
Yeah. They're all in the banners.
Not a boy.
You see the numbers there?
We'll get to them in just a second. Hold on. Let's see what you got. All righty. I see them.
You got your money ball.
That is what I'm trying to lock in on right now. Whew. That Boston College Louisville game has moved almost 4 points from -9 to 5.5.
Nothing's moved like crazy, really.
Michigan moved a good bit, 4 points from 19 to 23.5.
Last week something moved like almost a full touchdown, which was crazy. I see Illinois Penn State looks like it's about 5.5 points. Penn State's direction ever since Brett Bielema called out his entire team.
Yeah. And then said that the words were taken out of context.
Nope, we watched the video. I do like when guys try to pull that one though.
Oh. Oh. Boy, there is nothing I like this weekend.
No, that's why you should just play table games. Throw a couple overs down, play some table games, and then just hope that the games are good. At least you'll be cheering for points.
Right. See, the North Carolina State line moved from Miami -2 to North Carolina State -3.5. So there's that as well. E-Man Worry. E-Man Worry. I think you're right, Craig. I think Nick E-Man Worry. I think you're right. And Trey is just going all in on Jose Altuve. Whee. All right. I think I've got one, Patrick, but I'm not
I've got three that I'm picking between.
Okay. Whew, that Wisconsin Army line ended up at 37.5 last week. When it was all said and done, the over-under closed at 37.5, and it still went under.
I was thinking about playing the other Army under against Wake Forest at like 52 something.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at right now.
You're just gonna copy?
Well, I would have moved on to something else, but. $52.5 seems high. North Carolina State, Miami over-under has moved from 61.5 to 53.5. Let's see here. It's not a. At Georgia Tech, Virginia, 64 seems high for that. A lot of points.
Virginia's quarterback is a stud.
He is. He actually is really good. He's let me down a time or two, but
throws it weird. But the analytics love him.
Is Sean Clifford back for Penn State?
I don't know. Looks like it. Practiced all week.
Yeah. November 7th, Craig, or the week of November 7th. I'm gonna take the boat out. November 7th is my target date. Need to remind you, Wednesday, December 8th. That's right, Wednesday, December 8th. And we're already looking ahead to December. Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming back to Columbia at Colonial Life Arena. Tickets are on sale now. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Again, Trans-Siberian Orchestra back in Columbia Wednesday, December 8th at Colonial Life Arena. The portion of the proceeds benefiting Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. You can purchase tickets now with a portion of those proceeds going to a great cause. Again, Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to Colonial Life Arena Wednesday, December 8th. Getting around to our picks now. Patrick Perrette, Bill Gunner. We did not do well last week, or I did not do well at all. Patrick, I don't think you were particularly great either. I got my
All right,
notebook
take it
right here
easy.
behind my computer. Huh?
Take it easy.
It wasn't a good week, bro. It was not a good week.
It wasn't a bad week.
Let's see. Last week we picked Syracuse, Clemson. I won that one. You did not. We took LSU, Florida. You won that one. I did not. We took Kentucky and Georgia. We both lost that one. You took Auburn. Good pick by you, actually, on that one. That was kind of the surprise of the weekend. I took Arkansas. That was a loser for me. We both took South Carolina to cover the 18.5. We were not even close on that one. Moneyball pick. I had Rutgers -2.5 at Northwestern. Rutgers stunk. They lost 21-7 to a bad Northwestern team. And you took Army, Wisconsin under 39. The final of that one was 20-14. You cruised under very nicely. So right now you are up in the pick'em contest with 4 total points. I sit with 1. Is that right? 1?
Yeah.
I got Clemson. I got Syracuse last week, and that was it. So 4-1 is the score here when we do our picks. You are up first this morning. What do you have for us in the way of games?
I was just going to copy you and then keep hitting my Moneyball picks, and then I would just extend my lead.
There you go. Very wise decision. That's why you're up first.
I'm up first. You want me to just tell you that? All right. You know what?
Tell the
UCLA,
game and...
UCLA, Oregon. This is where game day is. I just don't know enough about either of these teams. I know that people were on UCLA early. I was stunned that they handled LSU the way they did, but they've lost to a group of 5 team, good group of 5 team in Fresno State at least, and then got hammered by Arizona State since then. All Oregon I've seen them do really is come to Columbus on a, I think, 9 a.m. mental clock game for them and beat Ohio State in their home stadium in a sellout crowd. I think it opened as an Oregon. I think maybe as an Oregon -1 or something like that. But now I'm seeing we're playing UCLA -1.5 at UCLA. I don't think there's any home field advantage there. Nobody's going to be at that game. I will take Oregon.
You are correct. Oregon opened as a 3-point favorite. The betting public has moved it to now UCLA -1.5 in this game. Remember, Oregon is still in the college football playoff picture here. If they can run the table out, and they've got kind of an argument to say, hey, the Stanford loss was because we didn't have Joe Moorhead and there was some other issues. Oregon is still in this thing. I don't think they are after this weekend. Oregon has been kind of stumbling of late. They did lose that Stanford game again that I just mentioned last week against California. They didn't play very well. Chip Kelly gets them this weekend. It's a revenge game for Chip Kelly. I'm going to go with you on this. I'm going to take UCLA. You took Oregon. I'm going to take UCLA at home. I know you're right. Not much of a home field advantage. I think UCLA, Patrick, this is one thing here. This weekend, I don't know if we don't have on paper the great games. It's usually where some of the big upsets come. You could see Oregon and another game we're going to pick here in a few minutes. Oklahoma State, both top 10 teams fall out of the ranking or fall out of the top 10. I'll take UCLA to pull the win this weekend.
All right. Let's just stick around unfamiliar territory and go to the Big 12. This is, maybe the best national game of the week, possibly. This is Iowa State hosting Oklahoma State, number 8 Oklahoma State, undefeated Oklahoma State, and Iowa State's getting 7.5 at home. You want to start?
I'll start with this one. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Iowa State's going to win, and we set the line at 7.5. I think Iowa State, though, will win the football game, but I think it's going to be really close. Oklahoma State's defense is playing a lot better this year. Iowa State has a pretty good defense. Iowa State's not necessarily a juggernaut on offense. We did the 7.5, the half-point hook there. I'll take Oklahoma State to lose the game, but to keep it within a touchdown there and lose close.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Both these defenses are really good. These are by far the 2 best defenses in the Pac-12 or in the Big 12. Neither of them are allowing over 100 yards a game. They're the only 2 defenses in the Big 12 holding opponents to under 100 yards a game. I really like Breece Hall. It's not a great running back group for the draft this year, but he might be the best of them. I think also that Ohio State will probably win, but I will happily take the points here. I think I'm with you. It'll be close. Not a lot of offense here. Both these teams make their bones on the defensive side. Don't mind the under either. It's only at 47. It's dropped down quite a bit, but I don't hate the under either.
Okay. What's our next one?
Let's come to the SEC for a minute. Ole Miss, LSU, 3:30 CBS game. Maybe not as sexy of a matchup as it should have been, the way LSU's been tumbling. But we're gonna go 9.5 is gonna be our number. And I guess I'll start. And Brian said it. Anything under 10, if Matt Corral plays, he wants Ole Miss. I am very much agreeing with him. I was surprised to even see that number drop down towards LSU because, yeah, I saw that Matt Corral was questionable, but everyone seems to be operating under the assumption that he's going to play. And I really haven't heard much from the Ole Miss side of things that they're actually concerned about him missing the game. Like, he's a little banged up, it sounds like, but I don't think there was really any doubt that he's going to play. And I'll be stunned if he's not out there on Saturday. I think he's going to play. I think Ole Miss is going to handle LSU.
Yeah, I think last week was LSU's Super Bowl at home. They rallied the troops. I'm sure the players knew Ed Orgeron. That was probably going to be his final game. You got to imagine that they had word that things were being settled between the administration and Ed Orgeron, and that last week they got up for the game at home. They ran the football against Florida, which was insane. I'm with you. They won't be able to keep up with Mississippi. I didn't know Matt Corral was injured until I got Brian Edwards' note earlier this morning that was a big key to this game. I'm with you. Matt Corral plays at Ole Miss. By the way, have you seen what they painted the end zones in Oxford for the weekend?
No.
Okay, they're going all out. I believe Arch Manning is expected in attendance this weekend. I do know that they're honoring Eli Manning this weekend. Manning is painted across the end zone in Oxford. They are going all out to show Arch Manning. I believe he is expected to be on campus to watch his uncle.
Say Manning.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah. End zones say Manning. They don't say Rebels. They don't say Ole Miss. The Mississippi's going all out.
And they highlight
put on the best sell job.
They highlight the yard markers at the 10-yard lines as well.
Yeah, it's Eli Manning weekend, and I believe his now famous nephew Arch Manning expected in attendance to be there to watch his uncle get brought into the Ole Miss Hall of Fame. Give me Mississippi. I think Lane Kiffin. Look, Lane won't miss an opportunity to run it up a little bit here to impress Arch and say, "Get on over here. We need you as quarterback." Arch Manning is the reason Mississippi covers the 9.5 this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So now what we got is South Carolina and Clemson and our money balls. What do you want to do first? Your choice.
Give me the Clemson game.
All right. 3.5 at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Stadium is called what?
I don't know. It's actually, to me, it's always been. Is it
Wait,
Heinz Field?
don't they play in Heinz Field? They do play in Heinz Field.
Yeah, they play at Heinz Field.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say it's still the Steelers. Yeah, they play at Heinz Field. Yeah. I'll go here. Yeah, Clemson's offense, I just don't see him getting it together. And the defense is banged up. Kenny Pickett is having a really good year. Just give me Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh to get the job done here and find a way to win this game by more than 3.5. That hook scares me, but I'm going to take the Panthers here to cover the 3.5, slow down the Clemson offense, and Kenny Pickett throws for a couple touchdowns.
I'm really torn on this because I do think if Pittsburgh wins, it's going to be because they put up a lot of points. So I'm not even necessarily sure I'm worried about the 3.5, but I am just thinking that there's a reason Clemson's been favored in every ACC game for the last 5 years because they're that talented. And I just intuitively, I feel like I need to always take Clemson catching points in the ACC. So I'm just going to go gut call. I think I'm going to take Clemson.
Okay.
They're still the more talented team. That's undeniable. And I guess I'll just keep thinking that they're going to show
buy
up.
in, kind of like you were doing with
because I also don't want to. I'm not going to just pull for them because it's my pick. Like I don't want to pull for Clemson, but it just in my brain I can't allow Clemson to just catch points and not pick them. There's so much.
So known Clemson apologist Patrick Perrette going with Clemson.
I mean, it really hurts me to do that, but it hurts me to make that pick.
Yeah, I'm the known homer. That's why I took Pittsburgh. You're the apologist, the realist, as some would say. You took Clemson. South Carolina, Texas A&M. You've got us picking this one at 20.5. South Carolina, a 20.5 point underdog. I'll let you go first.
I really don't want to go first on this one. I guess I'll just double down on being anti-South Carolina right now. I mean, I just picked Clemson. I just think Texas A&M's a lot better than South Carolina right now, and they found their groove. I just don't know. I don't see how South Carolina can really keep this thing close. I really can't see it. I'm going to take Texas A&M. I will take the 3 touchdowns.
Okay. Take the 3 touchdowns.
Now you get to be the homer and you get to make everybody feel happy and ingratiate yourself.
I don't know if I'm gonna make everybody feel happy on this one. I have South Carolina losing this game. What I do think happens, I think if you look at Texas A&M, they only put up 10 against Arkansas, 22 against Mississippi State. They got hot. They played out of their mind against Alabama. Remember that Alabama game? They were a 19-point underdog. The over-under was 50.5, and Texas A&M scored 41. Last week, they bounced back 35-14 over Missouri. They didn't have the letdown game. I think this is the letdown game. The bye week is on deck. Auburn is after that. And quite frankly, if you look at the remainder of Texas A&M's schedule, Auburn at Mississippi, Prairie View, and then LSU, there are bigger games ahead. Auburn, Mississippi, and LSU. I can see Texas A&M looking a little bit ahead to the bye week, getting a week of rest, looking past South Carolina. And for that reason, Zeb Nolan throws a touchdown pass late. South Carolina sneaks in under the number there and loses by 17 or something. I don't think you see a wildly great performance from Texas A&M, somewhere in the ballpark of like 27-7, maybe 27-10. Again, South Carolina scores in the final 5 minutes to sneak inside that 20.5 number. I don't necessarily think this game is very competitive or fun to watch. I just don't think Texas A&M's offense is going to have this monstrous day, and South Carolina puts up a couple points there to get within the 20.5. So I'll take South Carolina to just simply cover the spread with a very late touchdown.
27-7 would be the most depressing Saturday night because I would lose my pick. Every South Carolina bettor would win their bet, but feel just horrible about it, and it would be a terrible game to watch. If it's 27-7, ew. But okay, I don't think you really made anybody feel better, so I do appreciate that. Moneyball time. You got yours? You confident?
No, I don't. There's nothing. You and I have talked about it as a whole. There's nothing that we really like this week. The weekend slate of games is not all that great. But go ahead. You can go first. You're in the lead. What is the Patrick Moneyball pick of the week?
Okay, my bonus that I'm not going to use, I do actually like Liberty. I think it's like 21 or 22. I would actually parlay that with the over. I think I'm actually going to do that. They're coming off a loss when they were like 20-something point favorites against UL Monroe last week. It's a Malik Willis revenge game, and North Texas is horrible. So I think Liberty is going to dominate. But the one I feel most confident in, the one that I'm going to pick, is I'm going to take the under in the Ole Miss LSU game at 76.5. LSU scored 49 points last week, and I think that heavily inflated the number here. There's no way LSU is repeating a 40-point performance. And when I start adding numbers up, if it's 35-30, I'm still hitting that number. I'm clear. I'm over 10 points clear of the 76.5. I can't see this being that much of a shootout. I think Ole Miss will score and LSU will struggle. So 76.5, I feel pretty comfortable with.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go outside of the box. I'm going to go very far off the radar here and pick a game that I've kind of been watching Western Kentucky's offense. 14.5 will be the number here. That's what it is on FanDuel.com. They play at Florida International this weekend. And you go, okay, Western Kentucky, Florida International. I don't get it. Where are you coming with that one? Florida International, Western Kentucky throws the ball all around the field. Like that, that's all they do. They don't run the ball. They just throw it everywhere. And they've been pretty good at scoring. The problem is Florida International gives up a lot of points. 45 to Charlotte last week, 58 to Florida Atlantic, 31 to Central Michigan, 54 to Texas Tech. Western Kentucky is going to be able to score here. I'll take the 14.5 and hope that their defense plays just a mediocre game, because if they do that, Western Kentucky will get into the 50s or the high 40s, and I don't think Florida International is able to put up more than 30. So give me Western Kentucky. I'm going way off the box, but I need this one. Give me Western Kentucky minus the 14.5 on the road at Florida International. Oh, well known. There's a question for you. What is the name of Florida International's football stadium? Can you get that one?
No. And apparently
Donald, our resident football expert, our resident football stadium expert. Do you think he's got that one?
No, he says college football fans have to know the Power 5 stadium. So thankfully, I'm clear on that one because they're not Power 5. Yeah. He knows every Power 5 stadium.
Ricardo Silva Stadium is the answer we were looking for. It is a college football and soccer stadium on the campus of Florida International.
Who's Ricardo Silva?
It's a good question.
Okay,
Somebody who got a stadium named after him.
I'll have the answer after the break.
Yes, that's what we're looking for. 803-404-6100. There are your picks for the week. More importantly, your locks of the week. Patrick takes the under in the Mississippi LSU game. I go way off the radar. Western Kentucky minus the 14.5 at Florida International. There's your picks for the week. We'll continue to monitor those. We'll take suggestions on punishments or whatever the loser needs to do. I'm down 4 points to 1 as we go into week 2 of that. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
All right.
Oh, the last second safety. I like that. The last second safety. Okay, I should have one other script here somewhere. All righty. Jalen Dickerson is out for the game Saturday, RL. Well, Jalen Dickerson, unfortunately, seems to always be out.
This is. Have you seen this story about Alec Baldwin, Bill?
Yeah, it's been all over. As I've been kind of looking this morning, it's been on.
I really don't even understand what happened.
Apparently, they just gave him a gun that he was supposed to use as a prop, and it got discharged.
But it turned out to be
somebody.
So it turned out to be a real gun. Is that what it means?
I guess it had a bullet in it. I don't know. I hadn't seen that part.
Yeah, I've been reading all the tweets, but no one has actually confirmed that part of it. How do you? Insane.
Yeah, that story doesn't make sense. And I'll be honest, that story also on the Brian Laundrie kid, that story doesn't make any sense either. Where the dad just ran, they've been, I mean, I know it was, none of that makes sense with the Brian Laundrie kid. Where all of a sudden the dad just goes back in the woods and finds the wet pack or the whatever. Or the dry, Yeah, Hope, that Brian Laundrie story, like all of a sudden the dad goes in there and now they search one day and they find remains that are his, and
Weird.
it was submerged, like it was submerged in water. Like he was in there a month. I know that none of that makes sense. I just
No. They need to shake down his parents.
well, yeah, the parents, the way that they've handled everything, like I think I mean I don't know I'm sure they did DNA testing of the remains and everything. Just doesn't really add up to me. All the crime documentaries I've watched.
So Joe Burrow is dealing with the effects of a throat contusion still and is being advised to stay on voice rest.
So he can't talk to anybody.
But he's playing on Sunday. He's playing on Sunday and isn't really supposed to be talking.
Well, I mean, that's all you got to do.
Okay.
Silent counts. They should give the green dot to somebody else. They should give the green dot to a receiver.
That's true. Can you do that? Can you give it to another player?
I would think so. I think you can give it to whoever you want. You're only allowed to have one.
Yeah. Is that what they did? Wait, no. Carlton, did they use dental records to him or did they use dental records for, because, I mean, all they said was remains were found. They didn't really.
That's how they confirmed. No, that was yesterday. They confirmed that it was him because of dental.
Oh, okay. They used his dental records?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he didn't go to the extremes to have some teeth pulled out to be put there to confirm it, right? Like, I don't know.
All right, head back in. Very true, RL. Very, very true.
Wrapping up the Friday edition of the Early Game. Everybody for joining us this morning. Thank you for joining us all weekend. You joined on the live stream. People have joined via the Cool Care Heating and Air Tech line, the Chevy phone line. Texas A&M victory of 10 to 18 points and 51%, and it's over 350 votes. So it's not all Clemson folks just out there voting over and over and over. 51% predicting Texas A&M covers the spread. We picked it at 20.5. I put 19 on there. Patrick, Jen, the fan base, again, we've done the phone calls, the text messages, the live stream this week. It's a weird place for South Carolina here as we wrap up late. Obviously, next week will be the final week of October, but as we wrap up October here, for South Carolina fans to be in.
Beamer ball. Lots of Beamer ball.
That's what we're hoping for to
Yeah.
keep it close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truly.
Ty Kroger to have a big game passing.
Yeah, right.
Or just another block. Another block.
It's a weird place. Maybe next week's a bye week. Next week is a great weekend of college football. You'll have several really good games next weekend. South Carolina will be on the bye week. Clemson will get Florida State. We will do it all again next week. I'll be out Monday and Tuesday. I'll be back Wednesday morning. Frank Martin will join us in studio on Wednesday morning. We'll have our guest as usual next Thursday. Brian Edwards will join us. Perry Orth will join Patrick on Tuesday. Tommy Moody
Monday and Tuesday, a superstar.
Return to the early game on Monday and Tuesday morning. Patrick, you're in charge of keeping Tommy under control.
That's not going to be easy.
30.
Especially if the Red Sox lose and the Braves lose.
Oh, man. Yeah. He'll be under the desk.
South Carolina. Don't let Jen fangirl over Tommy being back either too much. There's a lot on your plate this week.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, I think we'll do it.
Do your best. That's all I ask is you do your best. Appreciate everybody joining us this week. Dan Patrick is up next. We're back live and local at noon. Have a great week. From Bill Gunner, Patrick Brecht, Jensen.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game. WNKT-FM.
Sorry, that was really loud.
Alec Baldwin news.
Yeah, that was weird.
Sorry. 100 on black. Got it. Yeah, I'll have some tweets out later when I arrive and what's going on, some views of the strip. So everybody have a great weekend. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy some sports. Go Braves.
Yep.
Go Braves.
Yeah, go Braves.
Go Braves.
Go
Chop
Braves.
on.
Right, stop on.
Chop on. That's what